Reborn as the leader of a villain group CH1-25. Information: a story about destroying a country in harmony with overly affectionate group members. Kai got reincarnated into a shitty game with a broken scenario. He, who was once the former world #1 rank of the game, got reincarnated in a detention facility where the country conducted illegal human experiments. The Empire, the main setting of the game, was already rotten to the core. In the midst of this, Kai met a girl in the detention facility. She was the final boss of the game, the boss that he had defeated before. This shitty country deserves to be destroyed. In a nation where people killed each other without sparing a second thought and the nobles were only obsessed with satisfying their own filthy desires, Kai started helping those who were suffering, along with the girl who was once the final boss of the game. Eventually, they came to be known as Shadow, the worst villain group with the intention to destroy the Empire. Like what I do? Consider buying me a cup of coffee. 1. I got reincarnated as an orphan in a shitty game. Chapter 1. I got reincarnated as an orphan in a shitty game. Question: how would you feel if the storyline of a game you poured your life into was completely broken? Answer: I would feel absolutely empty inside. That was how I felt right now. Dark Blood Online. Thanks to its captivating heroines and its thrilling combat system, this RPG had become a globally renowned game. I also loved this game a lot, at least until just recently. But this is weird. This is seriously messed up. The game's only flaw was its storyline. The dark atmosphere, the lack of any sort of hope, all of that was still tolerable. The protagonists just had to overcome it and everything would be dandy. That was all. However, in this game, the protagonists' actions seemed to encourage evil instead. The Empire, where the protagonists came from, was rotten to the core. Children were treated as test subjects, commoners suffering from high tax and hard labor. And yet, the protagonists, who called themselves as heroes, did nothing to help with these predicament. They were only focused on defeating the final boss demon. They didn't have any internal struggle, nor any complex feeling that made them somehow three-dimensional. No, the protagonists just kept chanting about defeating the final boss like a bunch of idiots. Their minds were too two-dimensional. Ugh. Give my life back. Give me the 10.000 hours I've spent on this game back. Give me my life back. Wailing, I remained seated in the chair in my room. I had started playing this game 4 years ago and I had invested a considerable part of my heart into this game. I reached the #1 spot in the world rankings, and when they first introduced the raid system, my guildmates and I were the first to clear the raid on the server. I truly befit my title as the top ranker. A pitiful user who devoted his life to this game. However, despite investing so much time and love for this game, the broken scenario of the game made me lose all desire to play the game. Ha ha ha. I knew it. It's burning. Burn, burn. Let this shitty game burn. I took a look at the bulletin board and sure enough, it was filled with negative comments from people who were enraged by the new story update. There were many comments expressing people's anger, such as, super disgusting, the writer should just die, the writer's ethics are done for, and so on. This is ridiculous. Right? Why do I need to help a country that's rotten to the core? A country like this should be destroyed instead. At that moment, for a split second, my field of vision was spinning and then, suddenly everything went completely dark. Unable to even utter a sound of surprise, I found my breath caught in my throat as suddenly, I felt myself being flipped over. Finally, I opened my eyes. Hey. Number 5025. Move it already. Huh? For some reason, I had become a boy called number 5025. 2. The girl with a demon dwelling inside of her. Chapter 2. The girl with a demon dwelling inside of her. In the game's storyline, the Empire was a country that conducted various experiments in pursuit of immortality for the Emperor. And one of the experiments involved human experimentation, specifically, taking orphan children to detention camps and testing various drugs and magic on them. It seemed I got reincarnated as one of those orphans. Oi. Get a move on already. Don't you want to eat? Cough. So sorry. Sorry. Good grief. These filthy guys. After about 3 days, I began to develop a certain belief toward this detention camp, or to be precise, toward the Empire. A country like this deserved to be destroyed. No matter how I looked at it, this country was definitely not normal. Working 5 days a week was tough enough, but working 7 days a week? This country was the little hell. Of course, it wasn't just about hard labor. Inside this detention camp, there were much more nefarious things were happening. Children who could still move their limbs were all sent to the mine, forced to dig ore until they collapsed. Then, once the children collapsed from exhaustion, the children would either be used as playthings by the men or became the next subjects of human experimentation. Only one word came to my mind: madness. When I actually witnessed that scene with my own eyes, I felt like vomiting. In fact, I did throw up several times. However, the reason why I could keep some level of sanity was because of this hologram-like screen floating in front of me. Status bar. Who would have thought I'd get to see the ability that I had only ever seen in-game? While still going through the motions of mining ore, I checked the skills written on the status list. The dignity of a sovereign C rank. A soul imbued with the quality of a supreme ruler. Nullifies all mental attacks and status abnormalities. One who stands at the boundary C rank. Stands at the boundary of all magic power. Can absorb and fire back any magic. Purification D rank. Able to purify that which is tainted. The purification skill was alright. It was a common skill that all characters had. But the dignity of a sovereign and one who stands at the boundary? I didn't remember there were skills like that in the game. No. These skills definitely didn't exist in the game. I mean, there was no way I wouldn't know about skills this overpowered. After all, that game was practically my life. Yet, right there on the screen in front of me, there were 2 skills that I didn't know. They were categorized under the unique skills section. Unique skills. But why? I'm not level 200 yet. Don't you need to reach level 200 and complete a quest to get a unique skill? But still, this was a good thing, right? There was no way I wouldn't make use of these skills to escape from this hellhole. Besides, just like what the skill description said, I definitely felt a strange energy surging through my body. This energy was probably what people refer to as magic power. Looking around the mine shaft, I saw exhausted children weakly swinging their pickaxes. Of course, it was hard even to breathe in here, let alone swinging heavy pickaxes. The only food available for orphan children in this mine was bread mixed with sawdust and polluted water. The air quality here was also horrible. It was impossible for the children to be able to endure living here. It had only been 3 days since I found myself here, but 5 children had already collapsed and got sent to the detention camp. This was definitely wrong. Fortunately, I'm still holding on somehow. But this shitty country. This empire. Anyway, I would need to use these skills to escape from here, no matter what. I started devising my plans in my head while swinging my pickaxe when suddenly, move it already. You idiot. Question mark AA. Oh. Oi. Oi. Don't mess with that one, huh? What do you mean? That kid is the demon child. At the edge of my peripheral vision, I saw a black-haired girl collapsed on the ground. A guard was standing over her, but then, another guy quickly ran over, trying to calm the previous guy. Huh? Demon child? What are you talking about, you idiot? There's a demon inside her body. If you trigger her too much, she could take down this entire mine with her, huh? You expect me to believe that a demon is inside some orphan from the slums? Can you even hear yourself? How preposterous. If you don't believe me, then try checking with your magic vision to see her magic power. You will see what I'm talking about then. Ugh. How troublesome. Fine, let's see. Then, a moment later, after activating his magic vision, the man was so shocked that he fell down on his ass right here and there. Fear was clearly etched on the man's face. He was trembling like he had opened Pandora's box as his trembling finger was pointed at the girl. Yo you. Just what? As if her emotion had been killed, the girl stood up expressionless and started swinging her pickaxes again. The guard managed to get up and scampered to get away from her. It wasn't just him though. Everyone present, including the other children, all of them distanced themselves from the girl as if they shared the same brain cell. Demon child. I feel like I've heard that word before. While trying to remember the word, I moved quietly, so as not to get caught by the guard, and approached the girl. Huh? Shhh. It would be troublesome if I got caught. Fortunately, the men from before had run far away from this. They didn't show any sign of looking this way. I put my index finger to my lips in shushing motion, and then I took out a small bottle from my pocket. Drink this. You don't have much to eat these past 3 days, right? You must be thirsty too, so this is for you. The water here is polluted. Drinking it will only poison you. Well, about that. I wanted to tell her that I had purified the polluted water using holy magic purification, however revealing that side of me would lead to more trouble. And so, I decided to dodge the question and make up something on the spot instead. Sorry, I can't tell you why, but trust me, this water is clean. See? The water is not murky, right? Why? Huh? Why? To me? I'm possessed by a demon though? Yeah, but you're still a human, right? Of course, I could also see the demon residing within her. After all, I was reincarnated into a body with magic power flowing through it to no end. I constantly had my magic vision activated all day long. The demon was a black entity, like the embodiment of an evil spirit. I could see its mouth and eyes. The demon was always grinning, as if mocking me. However, the girl looked completely fine. After observing her for the past 3 days, I could tell that she was kinder than other people. She had given her portions of bread and water to the other children. You're a human, not a demon. You are. The guard is coming. Drink all of it quickly so you won't get found out, okay? Wait. To avoid arousing suspicion from the guard, I quickly moved away from her and pretended to be working diligently. However, the girl's eyes were still fixated on me. Why? And thus, this was my first encounter with my comrade. 3. I will live for you. Chapter 3, I will live for you. You don't have a name? Yeah, I'm an orphan after all. After that, I somehow became friends with this black-haired girl. I had been spending most of my time with this girl for the past week or so. The other orphans, including the guards, they all still avoided her. They were clearly hostile of her while still keeping a safe distance away. And yet, she acted as if this kind of thing was normal to her. Seeing her like that made me feel sorry for her. Somehow, the more time I spent with her, the more I started getting attached to her. By the time I realized it, talking with this girl had become part of my daily routine. I mean, this girl. She looks similar to the final boss, the Witch of Tears. But, no way. I must be mistaken. After all, the witch has silver hair. Of course, the baseless speculations wouldn't stop popping in my head. But, I decided to ignore them for now. I continued talking with the girl who was sitting cross-legged on the bed. But even orphans have names, right? My name is number 5014. That's enough for me. I don't need anything else. But, more importantly, what's your name? There it came. I paused for a moment, contemplating my answer. First of all, I knew nothing about the original owner of this body. On top of that, it felt strange to us the name I had in Japan, but of course, I also didn't have any other name to use. Well, in that case, I guess I will go with number 5025 too. Now you're teasing me. No, really, I'm not. I don't know my name either. Actually, I don't even know why I'm here. Is it because of the drugs? Have the magicians experimented on you? Experiment? Yeah, the human experiments that they conducted here, the girl said as a matter of factly. From what I've heard, they give orphans various drugs and cast black magic on them. That's why everyone is doing their best not to collapse. Everyone is working hard just to survive in that noisy mine. After she finished talking, the girl looked around the room filled with rows of beds. There were dozens of children in the room. Among them, there were girls crying in despair and boys who seemed to be unconscious, only lying motionless on their beds. No matter what their condition looked like, there was no trace of hope in their eyes. Considering the significance of the numbers assigned to us, their reactions were understandable. My number was 5025. Which meant, over 5,000 people were likely sacrificed for the experiments until now. This place was reeking with despair and a fog of death permeated the air. Clenching my fist, I began to come up with a plan. There was no such thing as a mine escape quest in the game since the player was born as a hero on the Empire's side. However, seeing how horrible the situation in the mine was, I knew I had to act quickly. To do that, I needed to make use of the skills I had effectively. But the only magic I can use right now is purification, and one who stands at the boundary skill is useless if I don't have any magic to absorb. While I was lost in thoughts, the girl stared at me intently. "Aren't you afraid, huh?" "It's strange. I don't see any fear of death in your eyes. They're filled with the will to survive." "Well, I think I can say the same about you, though." "Nope. I'm better off dead." My eyes widened, surprised at the girl's calm words. On the other side, the girl remained in her seated position. She spoke nonchalantly, as if she was merely stating a fact. "I have a demon inside of me. It would be a disaster if this demon got unleashed to the world." "No, I mean, for you to die." "Nope, I was never meant to exist in the first place. I've been told that since I can remember. That's why, I should just die here." This kind of ending suits me the best. I wondered how she could be this emotionally dead. I was flustered, almost into full-blown panic. The girl wasn't even the least flustered when she said she should die. There was not an ounce of hesitation in her voice. Just how much abuse she had endured to end up like this? Suddenly, a fog seemed to cloud my mind, and by the time I realized it, I was already biting on my lower lip. "Are you really planning on dying? No matter what?" "Yeah. I came here to die. I have to die here, no matter what." How absurd. This was definitely weird. Indeed, there was a demon dwelling within this girl, but there was no need for her existence to be denied, for her to be ignored and broken to this extent. A sense of defiance began to surge within me. Before I could even think about it, I had already voiced my mind out. Then how about a bet? "A bet?" "Yeah. You see, I've been thinking about destroying this shitty detention camp soon and save the children here. So, here's the best. If you manage to survive until then, I win. But if anything happens to you before that, I lose. The bet won't work though. If you lose, I won't be in this world anymore." "No. After all, I won't lose," I said confidently, but half of it was just me acting tough. Of course, I didn't have any skills I could use right now, and my physical strength was basically zero. I was just a weak young boy. Still, I had to say it like that. Even though I knew that offering empty comfort like this was the same as giving cheap sympathy. "No matter what it takes, I will save you, even just for a tiny little bit." I wanted to restore the humanity in this girl. The girl's eyes widened slightly. A hint of surprise. Finally, I could see a hint of humane expression on her usually expressionless face. However, she quickly returned to her usual cold demeanor. "So? What should I do if I lose?" she said flatly. "Huh? It's a bet, right? You can decide. What do you want me to do?" "No, I mean, it's not like I want her to do anything. I just got a bit annoyed and feeling strangely stubborn, so I just... this is bad. I don't know the answer." I was lost in my thoughts when she suddenly, "If you're not going to decide, then I will. If I lose, I will live for you. Pardon?" "I will live for you. That's what I will do." Hearing her words, that sounded somewhat crazy. I couldn't stop myself from letting out a funny-sounding noise. 4. First Touch of Kindness number 5014 SPOF. Chapter 4, First Touch of Kindness number 5014 SPOF. Even someone like me had a mother. However, she was so cruel that I wasn't even sure if someone like her could be considered as a parent. She would hit me, kick me, pull my hair and scratch my skin whenever she could. Of course, her actions were understandable. Somewhat. After all, there was a demon dwelling within my body. "You hate her, don't you? You want to kill that woman, right? Just once. Just once is all it takes. Tell me to come out and you will feel so much better, you know." "Shut up." I didn't know when the demon had entered my body. According to that person, it seemed the demon was already within me since I was born. That must be true. After all, the demon had been whispering in the back of my mind for all I could remember. Besides, it seemed the magic power I was born with was part of black magic, a branch of magic ruled by the demons. That must be why the demon's power was compatible with me, because I possessed an immense amount of black magic power. Also, according to that person's explanation, I was already cursed from the moment I was born. The day after she told me all of this, my mother hanged herself. Mum. She's dead. Corpses couldn't speak. No matter how much I called her, her eyes remained closed shut. Her mouth never moved an inch. Together with a sense of liberation from my mother's death, I was finally alone. However, those who could see the demon within me shunned and despised me. They threw stones and eggs at me, hurling insult after insults at me. Fortunately, the orphanage in the slum took me in. But even there, I was always alone. Then, the caretaker of the orphanage died. I escaped from the orphanage with a certain destination in mind. Schwitz detention camp, the quickest place for orphan children who had nowhere to return to die. A little hell in the world where they conducted illegal human experiments. Over 50 children were said to be killed every day. I thought I would die when I arrived there. I thought I would finally be released from everything and be at peace. However, even after coming here, I was still alone. Everyone was afraid of me. None of the magicians dared to experiment on me. I wanted to die. I wanted to die. I kept wishing for death every day. Otherwise, one day, I might succumb to the demon's words. Because the thoughts of killing started to sound hauntingly sweet to me. Well, it's fine I guess. However, I was slowly reaching my limit. The demon's voice echoed in my head all day long to no end, and since my body was overflowing with magic, I didn't even understand the concept of fatigue. My body just kept moving through the motions. Endlessly. I just wanted to feel comfortable. However, if I couldn't find peace even in death, then I didn't have any other option. Yes. I shall become the devil. I would become the devil and destroy everything, including this insane world that had forsaken me. Black mist swallowed my soul. Just one word. I just needed to say one word, but then. Drink this. You don't have much to eat these past 3 days, right? You must be thirsty too, so this is for you. I met someone who changed my destiny. Someone who I would love for all eternity. For some reason, that boy was eerily concerned about me. Given I had a sharp sense, I could tell that this boy could see the demon dwelling within me more vividly than anyone else could. And yet, he didn't change his attitude toward me. On the contrary, he approached me with more compassion and care than before. What's your name? And so, I found myself asking him a menial question in return. Even though I might get betrayed by him, even though he might abandon me, weak as I was, I asked him that question. The boy paused for a moment before he answered. Number 5025. His answer made me feel disappointed. I guess he still couldn't trust me. He still saw me as a monster. However, I was wrong. According to him, he had no memories of his past. He was so sincere, so genuine when he explained it to me that it was impossible for me to accuse him of lying. And above everything else. Then how about a bet? That word came in just within 1 week of knowing him, and all doubts in my heart completely disappeared. I repeatedly told him that I wanted to die, and yet, he refused to acknowledge my wish for death. If I survived, it would be his wind. He told me that he wouldn't lose and that he would save me. The first kindness I ever experienced in my whole life. The first warmth I ever felt. Something indescribable welled up from the depths of my heart, almost overwhelming. Before I knew it, my mouth was already moving on its own. I will live for you. I will live for you. I said it twice. I meant what I said. He was the only person to ever promise to save me. That alone was enough reason for me to give him everything I had. Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? No. There's nothing. Even so, if my existence ever became a danger to him, I would disappear from him. I was prepared to do that much. After all, there was no denying it. I was still a monster. He might get hurt just by being by my side. He might end up in danger. Just the mere thoughts of him in danger was enough to make chills run down my spine, enough to make me feel sick. I see. My heart already belongs to him. At that moment, I truly felt it with all of my core. I belong to him. Oi! What are you all sleeping for? Wake up. Livestock like you lots don't need sleep. A bad man entered the room where beds for children lined up at. His eyes scanned several of the children. Then, with an ugly smirk on his face, he snickered. Now then, time to start picking our next test subjects. 5. Take it, take everything. Chapter 5, Take it, take everything. Recently, you guys aren't collapsing as often. TCH. Even though I keep telling them to push you guys harder, the guard muttered. His eyebrows furrowed together as he scanned the room. The room we were in housed around 50 children. Cramped beds lined up together in this sterile room. This room gave a clear picture just how these people view these children. Yes. To them, we were nothing but expendable livestock. Livestock kept gingerly for experiments. Hig. Hig. Ah. You. You are. Don't cry. You guys are so noisy. Aha. Ha ha ha. Let's choose the crying ones then. Hey. You over there. Come forward. Oi. This isn't right. The girl, still crying from fear, trembled upon hearing the guard's instruction. Thinking that she was going to die, the girl struggled to speak coherently in between her sobs. Fee. Please. My life. Just my life. Like I said, your life will be just fine. Come on. Get your ass up here. Quit your whining. So noisy. Oi. The one over there. Yeah, you two, one sitting on either side of her. Yeah, you two are coming along too. Wow, so cruel. I didn't do anything wrong, huh? Question mark. The moment the guard said that, the whole atmosphere in the room changed. The boy, who had mustered all the courage within him to protest, suddenly found himself gasping for air. However, it was too late. With a quick, long stride, the guard inched closer to the boy. Oi, say it again. I said. Say it again. Huh? Question mark. I'm sorry. Please, just spare my life. Shut up. You damn livestock. With one quick motion, the man took the whip strapped to his waist and lashed out at the boy. The sound of whip cracking against human flesh reverberated throughout the room. The man's grin grew even wider, even sinister. Arg. Huh? Question mark. What's wrong now? You were so arrogant earlier, aren't you? Oi. What's wrong, huh? Question mark. What's wrong? Question mark. Tilde. Huh? Question mark. Arg. Stop. Stop. Please stop. I'm begging you. Ha ha ha. Right. It's your turn next. Oh, but look at you. You're pretty cute. How about if you spend a night with me? Hi. Should I kill him? For a moment, the thought of killing him crossed my mind. Before I knew it, I found myself leaving my bed to approach that man. Hey, stop. Enough, huh? Question mark. I said, stop. The man's attention shifted from the bloodied boy to me, as if he had just found another amusing toy. Aha, why look at you, pretending to be a hero among the livestock. What do you want? Huh? I'm not a hero or anything. It's just, a scum like you deserve to get torn to pieces. Huh? Instead of treating us like the human we are. You dare call us livestock? You shithead. We're not livestock. The real livestock here is you. Everything seemed to freeze still. No one in this room expected that kind of insult to come out from my mouth. For a moment, the man seemed flabbergasted, as if he couldn't even understand what was happening. However, he. Ah ha 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 ha. You bastard. Ugh. He struck my body as hard as he could with the whip he had. He. We're not the livestock, you said. He. I see. Then, I will crush you thoroughly until you know your place. I guess you want to die early, huh? Question mark. Ugh. I didn't know what that whip was made of, but it seemed the whip had iron pieces embedded into it or something. The sharp metal scraped against my skin, tearing my skin and flesh. Blood trickled down my body. He kicked me, struck me with the whip until gradually, my arm was covered in blood. What's wrong? What's wrong, huh? Question mark. Didn't you say you'd tear me to pieces? Huh? Question mark. Didn't you? Ugh. Wow. However, I couldn't just stand here and take his beating. I gripped the end of the whip with all of my might, utilizing my quick reflexes to their fullest. The iron pieces pierced into my palm, but I ignored the pain. Then, I hurled the whip I was holding as hard as I could to his thigh. Arg. Question mark. The whip, adorned with metal pieces, struck him squarely on the thigh. He let out a deafening scream. I began whipping him over and over again. Even though I was just a child with no magic or physical prowess, I was able to strike him multiple times, relying on sheer determination alone. Seeing this guy laughing maniacally in this hellish place, I felt the urge to kill him. You shitty. Die. Die? ? Within a split second, I saw him reaching into his back pocket. I immediately jumped away from him and fell on my ass. Right where I had been standing a moment before, there was a sharp dagger embedded to the floor. I see. If that dagger had hit me, I would have died. Clearly not expecting this turn of events, the man gasped. His wide eyes were bloodshot. He was breathing heavily. However, I quickly adjusted my posture, staring at him hard. I felt strangely calm, despite escaping death narrowly just now. What are you? The man was more flustered than I expected. He began to panic. Well, who wouldn't? He probably never expected he would get beaten by a child much smaller than him. Or maybe this was due to my unique skill? Maybe my unique skill, the dignity of a sovereign, activated in my favor? I didn't know. However, one thing was for sure. The situation was now in my favor. Shit. You shitty. What's with all this ruckus? ? However, suddenly, two new guards entered the room. The first guard to enter was completely incapacitated. He was squatting on the floor with his thigh torn apart. Immediately, the two men turned their attention to me. What the hell are you doing? Don't tell me you get beaten to pulp by this little bug. What the? A cat getting cornered by a rat. So funny. Now I'm itching to see this rat die. It must be a sight to see. I could somehow handle one guy, but three was definitely out of the question. I didn't have any decent skills right now and my palms were all torn up. Well then, how about if we beat you to half dead before taking you to the research facility? Our magician will be delighted to have you. Right? The men were approaching, their shadows looming over me. At this rate, I would be really taken away for real. What should I do? Is there anything I can use? Damn it. I will have to fight back with everything I've got. Just as I was thinking that, at that moment. Take it, demon. Just now, a voice came from behind me. I thought to myself, and when I turned around, I saw it. The girl who had been talking with me earlier. The one who claimed she should die because of the demon inside her. Number 5014. The girl who broke striking similarity to the final boss of the game. She was standing on the bed, glaring at the men who were about to attack me. Take it. Take everything. My soul. Number 5014 muttered softly. I saw tears welling up in the corner of her eyes, and in the next moment, the entire space was engulfed in deep darkness. 6. Please, stay away. Chapter 6. Please, stay away. What happened? I couldn't understand it. Everything happened in an instant. All I could see was a deep, black vortex. The storm raging around my first friend in this hell, number 5014. And then, behind her, there was a demon grinning widely. A demon. A demon. I stood there, dumbfounded, just looking up at the demon. The demon was about 5 times the size of an adult man. It truly looked like the physical embodiment of evil. The monster placed both hands on number 5014's shoulders and grinned again. Finally, the time has come. Everyone in the room began to scream and run. In the face of absolute fear, everyone was the same. Whether it was an orphan about to be used as a test subject or a guard in charge of monitoring the said orphan, everyone fled the room without exception. However, the demon wouldn't let them escape. All right. You're first! It was the man that I had fought before. Within a blink of an eye, he was already trapped in the demon's grasp. He must have been slow to escape due to the injury on his thigh. The demon easily grabbed him by his torso. His face was filled with fear. Tears running down his eyes. No. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. I don't want to die. The demon tightened his grasp and with a sickening squelch, blood spurted from the man's entire body. He was literally crushed to death. The man, now reduced into a corpse, swayed listlessly. The demon then nonchalantly tossed the dead man into its mouth. At first, I thought the demon was going to eat him. However, I was wrong. While the man was indeed thrown into the monster's mouth, but he wasn't eaten. Not exactly. Instead, the man's body withered rapidly. The skin rotted away and with a thud, he fell to the floor like an empty casket. Tar that switch of tears. I was stunned to see the guard's body withered away. After all, that was the move used by the final boss in the game I used to play in my previous life. A skill that devoured the soul and drained all life from one's body. Soul Eater. Why? Why is that skill being used here? My attention was fixated on the man's corpse when, damn it, damn it. No, I don't want to die. The demon reached its hand out, breaking through the wall, and in the next moment, the demon had already grabbed another man. I thought the demon would crush the man to death again, but I was wrong. A crisp snap echoed. The demon snapped the man's neck, taking another life easily. After that, just like before, the demon tossed the man's corpse into its mouth, and after the corpse withered, the body fell to the floor with a thud. The demon had drained all life from the man, leaving a grotesque corpse that made me want to retch just from looking at it. What? What's going on? What the he? Arg! Another guard came to check the situation. Of course, the demon instantly grabbed him and killed him. This time, instead of putting the man into its mouth, the demon sucked the man's soul right here and there. That skill. That fighting style. It was so similar to Witch of Tears, the final boss of the game I played. Could it be? I bit my trembling lip hard, and then, I turned my head to check on my friend, number 5014. You finally showed your true form, you demon one. Outside the door, I saw an old man with a provoking smile on his face. This 40-something man must be the person in charge of this detention camp. The guards bowed their heads to him. My assumption must be correct. Ha 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 ha. Isn't it great? Now we just need to kill that little girl and then things will go according to our will somehow, right? Come on, come on, come on. Wow. The moment I heard the man was planning to kill number 5014, my body immediately moved out of reflex. I quickly got up and spread my arms wide to block the man's path. The man frowned. His sword was still in his man. But then, he smirked. It seemed he planned on killing me along with her. However, The man, who had been charging forward with the intention to cut everything in his way down, suddenly stopped moving. His face became blank, his eyes vacant. He was looking up at the demon. Not quite understanding what was happening, I turned around and I saw the demon's eyes glowed in red. I turned my attention back to the old man, and there, I saw it. Kai hi. The man in front of me suddenly started laughing maniacally. And then, with the sword he was holding, he stabbed his own head, resulting in a sickening squelch sound. Blood splattered. His lifeless body immediately fell to the ground. The demon scooped the man's corpse with its finger, like it was picking up trash. Then, the demon swallowed it and turned the man into an empty shell. At this rate, I'll be killed too. Even though I knew this, but the thought of running away never crossed my mind. The situation I was witnessing so far reminded me of the battle against the final boss in that particular game. However, more importantly, Kai ha. Even though my fellow orphan was devoured by the demon, I couldn't move my legs. I see. You're next. Kai. No. Don't. Do. The demon reached its hand out. I could see her. She was crying tears of blood, struggling desperately to prevent the demon from killing me. I quickly devised a plan. When the demon had come into the world like this, the demon became a tangible entity. However, its power source was magic. Then, if I used the skill I had, one who stands at the boundary, and absorbed its magic, wouldn't I be able to get back at it? Yes, theoretically, it should work. This must be the only way to save her. However, the demon's black hand reached out to me far too quickly. The demon's hand stopped right in front of me all of a sudden. For a moment, An unbelievable silence fell between us. What is happening? The demon looked equally baffled too. Its hand was trembling as the demon tried to grab me again. But, it couldn't. I could feel it. I could feel it with every fiber of my being. No matter how much the demon focused its power and the magic power, the demon couldn't crush me. The demon's struggle was in vain. Why? How? Why? In that case. Then, the demon's eyes glowed. Red light engulfed my entire body, pouring over me as if the demon intended to consume me with its red light. This was the skill that killed the old man earlier. What? However, nothing happened. I was completely unaffected. The demon raised its voice, seemingly in utter disbelief. What? What? Why is the mental attack not working? Why can't I grab your body? Shit. The dignity of a sovereign. Right. That skill nullifies all mental attacks. Then. This is perfect. I forced my shaky legs to stand. Enduring the raging black storm, I took a step forward. Please, don't. Come. I was walking straight ahead, struggling to stand by my friend's side. My friend, who was begging me to stop with tears of blood streaming down her face. 7. Change of Destiny number 5014 SPOF. Chapter 7, Change of Destiny number 5014 SPOF. No, don't. Don't come. I had never cried before. My emotions had faded at some point in my life. But now, I was actually sobbing with tears running down my face. Because that child, my first friend in my whole life, he was coming toward me. Please. Run away, please. My voice, now mixed with the demon's horrific voice, echoed out. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear this eerie voice, but I had no other choice. I had to speak. I had to beg. I didn't want to kill my first friend with my own hands. And yet, somehow, you bastard. Just die already. Ha. I'm not going to die in a place like this. Something was not right. Something was very, very wrong. Having lived with this demon for over 10 years, I already knew. I knew this demon possessed overwhelming power, enough to destroy this world. However, the current situation felt incredibly uncanny. The demon, a symbol of calamity and the object of everyone's fear, the demon was left flustered because of a single boy. Number 5025 gradually approached me. In just 10 more steps, we would touch. However, the demon, seemingly frustrated by number 5025's strange power. What? Why? Why can't I grab him? Damn it, if it comes to this, then No. Don't. Run away. Using the magic within me, the demon created a massive sword of smoke. A sword engulfed in darkness. A mass of black magic. Anyone that got hit by that, especially a frail young boy like number 5025, would definitely die. Number 5025 looked up at the sword. The shock was clearly etched on his face. I screamed again even though I could feel something trickling down my cheek. I screamed out of desperation. "Deee. You shitty human." The massive sword swung down to number 5025. However, number 5025's body remained unscathed. Even though the sword should have cut him in half. Wow. Huh? The massive lump of black magic got sucked into the boy's hand. Number 5025's hand was glowed in black light as he absorbed the purple magic into his body. Both the demon and I could only stare at him in disbelief. How could this be happening? The magic being absorbed? How? What? I knew it. A demon's magic is hard to contain. What are you? You. Ha. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm a friend, I guess. Shut up. You. I'll be sure to seal you. The demon let out a crazed scream. The demon's reaction was understandable. After all, the demon had been waiting patiently to be unleashed upon this world, only for everything to be overturned by a single boy. Ha. I see. Magic won't work on you. Hi. Fine. Then, how about this? Nightmare, fly away. For a split second, a black circle formed in the air. That black circle engulfed number 5025's body, trapping him. In an instant, number 5025 disappeared, leaving me to widen my eyes in shock at his disappearance. Mental attack. Kihahi. Kihaha. Kihahahaha. Post-nightmare. Sending the opponent into a world of nightmare, stripping away their spirit and ultimately driving them to commit suicide. It was the worst curse ever. This mental attack was on a different level than the one the demon cast on the supervisor of this detention facility. Once someone was subjected to this spell, everything was over. 500 years. 500 years, you know? Every day, every single day. Hungry, stabbed, torn apart, thrown away, dying every day. Kihahahaha. Everything is over. Number 5025. He's going to die. Why? How did it come to this? I was merely trying to save number 5025. When those men approached him, I thought they were going to take number 5025 away, so I summoned the demon to kill those men. That was all I intended to do. Why didn't you run away? Why did you come close instead? Even when my mother died, I didn't feel sad. But now, my eyes were burning. I couldn't breathe. My heart ached. All I could see before me was sheer despair. Yes. This world is hell. I see. Yes. That's right. Let's feel good now. Let's be at peace. I will unleash my power as I please and destroy this world. A world where my loved ones die. A world like this is better off destroyed. That's right. That's the only thing I can think of. That's right. Take it. Succumb. Accept it. This is your destiny, nameless girl. Kufufufu. Your destiny is to become this world's greatest enemy. To become Witch of Tears. The black sphere was still there. I didn't want to see it. If that black sphere disappeared, I would be forced to see the grotesque corpse of my friend. I would be forced to see his headless corpse. Enough. I should give up now. I'm sorry, number 5025. If only I was never born. If only, allow me to make a few corrections, While it is true that she's destined to become a witch. Why are you still alive? Question mark. But surprisingly, a flap of a butterfly's wing is all it takes to change destiny. Why is he unscathed? That curse is the worst curse. It should have been unbreakable. So how? Number 5015. While I was stuck in a daze, my friend had somehow stood right in front of me. Number 5025 crouched down and met my gaze. He didn't avert his eyes from mine, even though my eyes were stained in red. Even though my eyes must be unsightly. Gust of black wind wreaking havoc throughout the room. The bed, pillow, everything was swallowed up in the storm, as if this storm was the physical manifestation of the demon's wrath. However, when we were safe here, right in the eye of the typhoon. My only friend chuckled before I'm sorry. You can be as angry as you want with me later, but he then suddenly hugged me so tightly I could hardly breathe. 8. I want to stay by your side forever. Chapter 8. I want to stay by your side forever. I wondered if this was what it felt like to have poison flowing into your body. That was how dreadful number 5014's magic power was. A power worthy enough to have a demon dwelling inside her. For an ordinary boy like me to absorb all of that, I couldn't possibly stay sane. My magic power is being absorbed. Wait. Number 5025. Cough. Cough. Grah. My throat burned. I felt like I was going to vomit blood. I could see number 5014's face. She was crying profusely. I could also hear the roar of the demon. It felt like I was being scorched on cellular level. My whole body was burning. However, despite the intense pain coursing through my body, I didn't let go of number 5014. My arms were still encircled around her body. Stop. Let me go. Now. That. Cough. No can do. Why? Sheer panic was etched on my friend's face. And then, at the same time, I could feel it. The demon's shadow hovering over her was shrinking, albeit gradually. Why? Could it be You're the one in the prophecy. Shut up. Hurry up and get absorbed already. Jigwah. Question mark. Gradually, not just power, but I could feel something more substantial, something like a soul, seeping into me. The black power congealed inside my body, melting into my heart. I spat out blood, but my blood wasn't red. It was black. Despite everything going on, I somehow managed to muster enough strength into my arms to continue hugging number 5014. I persisted, enduring the pain. You. Remember this? I will definitely possess your body. And even after you die, my curse will wander around you for eternity. Gukawak. I vomited out blood once more, and then, in the next moment, the sinister mist and ominous magic vanished. In the room where there were supposed to be over 50 people, only number 5014 and I remained. Cough. Uck. Ha ha ha. You stupid. Mental attacks don't work on me. Thanks to that something sovereign something. My body still felt uncomfortable, but it wasn't unbearable. I could feel the demon's magic seeping into my body rapidly. This must be thanks to the skill, the dignity of a sovereign and one who stands at the boundary. The combination of those two skills truly felt like those cheat-like abilities you'd see in a novel. Number 5025? Yeah? What is it? Your left eye. It becomes red. Huh? Surprised, I looked around to check. However, I didn't have any means to check since this room didn't have any mirrors. And so, I merely shrugged my shoulders nonchalantly with a wry smile on my face. Well, it must be because of the demon. Your eyes are also red. Your hair becomes white even. Yes. I knew it. She was the Witch of Tears after all. Number 5014 was the final boss from the game I had played before in my past life. It made me feel a little complicated. The final boss that I had struggled so much to defeat was right here. And that aforementioned final boss was just a mere young girl. Why? Why did you save me? For once, I could sense a hint of shiver in number 5014's voice. It was safe to say that was the first time she ever exposed her raw emotion to me, given she usually maintained an indifferent expression. I stared at the girl in front of me. This girl is the final boss of the game. The enemy of humanity. She has a demon residing inside of her. It's not an exaggeration to say that she's a walking time bomb. But still, you're right. After spending a week together with her, I knew one thing for sure. This girl was a human. A proper and genuine human. Moreover, she was kinder than most humans. She just happened to be born with a curse, and the neglect from those around her had withered her spirit away. Other than that, she was just an ordinary girl. That was why I saved her. Of course, part of the reason why I saved her was to prevent her from awakening as the final boss. Had she become the Witch of Tears, millions of people would die. But most importantly, my main reason was, maybe because I know you're a good girl. Simply put, I didn't want this kind girl to be viewed as an enemy by other people. I couldn't stand the thought of her becoming a figure hated by everyone. There was to it. If she hadn't gone astray, if she had been loved by someone, she could have lived a much happier life. Then, after number 5014 heard my reason, she. Huh? Wait. Why are you crying? Did I say something wrong? Suddenly, tears started streaming down from her red eyes again. Perhaps embarrassed to be seen crying, she covered her face with both hands and shook her head. I was flustered, but I waited for her to stop crying. Then, the girl, with her eyes slightly swollen from crying, said, "That was the first time someone called me a good girl." I see. Yeah. You're the first person to ever say that to me. You're a good girl, number 5014. You are. Having heard part of her past, I began to understand. No one ever praised her in her entire life. In that case, the least I could do was to praise her properly. After all, I am her friend. You're wrong. Huh? Number 5014 shook her head and looked up at me again. My name isn't number 5014. That's just a number the people here gave to me for their own conveniences. That's true. But you don't know your own name either. That's why. I want you to give me a name. Her sudden suggestion caught me off guard. My eyes widened in shock. Me? Giving this girl a name? A name for the final boss. Wait, are you sure you want me to do it? A name is important, you know. Wouldn't it be better if you choose your own name? There's nothing more important to me than you. Pardon, that's why. I want you to be the one to give me a name. That name would be my greatest treasure. Just now, I thought I heard something unbelievable slip out from her mouth. But then, if she insisted, then I guess I didn't have any other choice. I should do it. Besides, it would be more awkward if I kept on refusing. I thought for a while until eventually, I snapped my fingers and said, that's right. How about Nia? Nia? Yeah. It means Nia ought to be by someone's side. By someone's side, because she was a girl who had always been avoided by other people. She wasn't loved. She didn't have anyone to cheer her on. Which was why I came up with that name in the hope that from now on, she could become someone who was surrounded by people that would support her. Well, it was also a name that came to my mind from the English word Nia. Okay. Then from now on, I will be Nia. Aha, so you liked it? Thank you. Yes. I'm happy with the name. Nia seemed to like the name I chose. She was blushing and smiling slightly. She looked even more beautiful than I expected, so much so that my heart suddenly skipped a beat. I had always thought she was good looking, but now, she looked really cute. Since I'm Nia, what about you? What's your name, huh? I want to know your real name. No more teasing, huh? Ah, I see. Well, it finally dawned on me after hearing Nia's words that I didn't know what my name was in this world. I had been reincarnated into the world of a game, but I didn't know who this boy was or what kind of character he was. I got nothing. But still, I needed to give her an answer, and so, I decided to use the name of the character that I used in my past life. Then, Kai. Ka. Yeah. I guess you can just call me Kai. Okay. Got it. Then, Nia happily repeated my name softly. Her lips curled up into a gentle smile as she chanted my name. Kai. 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 Why do you keep saying my name? Well, in any case, let's get out of here. Someone might come again after all. But just as I was about to stand up, Nia suddenly grabbed the hem of my jacket. I looked at her, tilting my head to the side. Nia blushed even more. She stared intently at me. Kai. What is it? I lost the bet. Bet? Oh. Right. We made a bet. I was so focused on getting Nia and me out of here that I had forgotten about the bet. However, it seemed Nia remembered all the details of that bet. That's why. From now on, I will live for you. Huh? Huh? Question mark. I will live for you. She repeated her words nonchalantly, as if she was only stating facts. And, for the first time since I met her, she gave me a beaming smile. I want to stay by your side forever. T/N. This chapter made me cry a little, I really want Nia to be happy. 9. Revenge. Chapter 9. Revenge. Everyone has run away. After things had calmed down, Nia and I looked around the detention camp together. Right now, both of us had the demonic power equally divided in half. With this power, we could defeat the guard in the camp and rescue the orphans. But, it turned out our help wouldn't be necessary. This is really terrible, Nia. Yeah. There were several desecrated bodies of guards scattered in the hallway. Each bodies were in a terrible state. The children must have finally unleashed their pent-up frustration. The orphans must have banded together to kill the guards on their way to escape. Otherwise, nothing could explain why these bodies were so desecrated. Of course, I didn't have a shred of sympathy for these men. In my eyes, these men were the real demons. Kai, what should we do from now on? Well, for now, let's get away from here, huh? Suddenly a hologram-like notification bar floated up in front of me. I clicked on the bar out of instinct and a message started appearing along with the same status bar I had seen before. Congratulations. Your skill rank has increased. Congratulations. You have acquired a new skill, the dignity of a sovereign B rank. A soul imbued with the quality of a supreme ruler. Nullifies all mental attacks and status abnormalities. One who stands at the boundary B rank, stands at the boundary of all magic power. Can absorb and fire back any magic. Demon Slayer D rank. Grants control over the power of the demon that signifies the end of the world. Demon Slayer. This was the new skill I acquired. So by absorbing the magic using one who stands at the boundary and completely making it my own power, I was able to gain a new skill. This had been bugging my mind, but these two skills were really cheat skills, huh? Without one who stands at the boundary and the dignity of a sovereign, I wouldn't have been able to save Nya. Kai, what are you looking at? Oh, that's right. I will show it to you, Nya. Here, can you see it? I crouched down a bit and adjusted the position of the skill bar so Nya could see it better. Then, as Nya read the skills bar floating in front of her, she widened her eyes in shock and looked back at me. It was something really out of character for her to do. Kai, this is... Yeah, it's a skill list. What? Is there something strange about it? Kai, how old are you? Huh? Why are you suddenly asking me my age? Because you need at least 50 years of experience to raise a skill to a B rank, ... Huh? Moreover, it's strange to have a rank this high right after absorbing that demon's power. Normally, when you acquire a skill, it starts at F rank. So, in other words, Kai, you're a monster. I see. I'm a monster. Being told that firmly to my face felt a bit embarrassing. I had a suspicion about it, but it turned out I really was reincarnated with cheat abilities. Well, unfortunately, I was reincarnated in this hellish empire. That part was a bit unfortunate indeed. I see. Thank you, Nya. I'm the one who should thank you. After all, I was saved by you, Kai. In that case, can I ask you for a favor, Nya? If it's for you, Kai, I will do anything. I felt a bit worried for a second there. She sounded like she really would do anything for me. Smiling wryly, I held Nya's hand as I spoke. I'd like you to keep these skills a secret. It could become quite troublesome if people found out about this. Okay. I will do as you say, Kai. And Nya? I think you should refrain from saying things like I will do as you say so easily. You're a girl, you know ? You might get tangled up with a bad guy, you know ? Kai isn't a bad guy. With a calm expression on her face, Nya continued on. Even if Kai were a bad guy, I'd be fine with that. Whoa, I've really won the final boss over. Final boss? No, it's nothing. Anyway, I don't have any intention of making you do anything strange, Nya. I said so and I carefully scanned our surroundings. Then, when I looked back at Nya, her face seemed to be clouded by something, like she was overwhelmed by some sort of emotion. Kai, you're being mean. Why? What's up with that reaction? So? What should we do next? I will do as you say, Kai. Let's see. First, let's blow this depressing detention camp up. I trailed my words, trying to recall the game's storyline. If the date and period of time I was told was correct, 3 months should have passed since the heroes' party was formed. They should be heading to a dungeon soon to gain real combat experience. I really didn't want to get involved with the hero and his party, but let's go meet the assassin. There were some characters weighing on my mind. First, I wanted to help that assassin girl. After all, she was the victim of that reckless hero and this unreasonable empire. Kai is cheating on me. How does this count as cheating? And how did you know she's a girl? But since Kai saved me, I will forgive you even if you cheat. You absolutely can't say that in front of other people. You're making me sound like a really bad guy. No, but, is she okay in the head? She should be angry if she thinks she's being cheated on. Oh, well, one day, I needed to teach Nya about human emotions more. While we bantered playfully like this, we found a ladder leading up to the surface. We climbed it up and upon emerging, we were immediately greeted by warm sunlight and vast greenery surrounding us. Is this a forest? How could the Empire even think of creating a hellish place like this in the middle of such a serene forest? Kai, yeah, I want to blow it up together. Are you sure? Do you think you can control the demon's power properly now? The demon's voice in my head is gone now. Besides, I have an aptitude for black magic in the first place. Destroying this underground mine shouldn't be a problem. Well, there shouldn't be any need to worry. After all, she used to be the final boss of the game. We exchanged glances before we both reached our hands out to the mine. Not quite sure which skill was to use, I just imagined creating a mass of sphere-shaped magic energy. Then, A surge of black glowing magic was drawn into the palms of my hands. The energy gained stronger and stronger in a circular shape. Nia was also using her magic in the same way. Together, we directed that mass of magic to the underground facility. Yeah, this was our revenge for the over 5,000 victims of this facility. The two of us unleashed the mass of magic, and soon after that, a massive vibration shook the ground. 10. One word from the assassin. Chapter 10. One word from the assassin. Hey, did you hear? They said the orphanage got destroyed by a demon's child. Oh my. Really? What will happen to the children then? Isn't that the place where they educate the slum children? How pitiful. The news of the destruction of Schwitz Orphanage, an orphanage that was located in the middle of a forest, spread to the public the day after Kai and Nia escaped. The headline of the newspaper read, "Orphanage where the angels descended got destroyed by a demon." None of the Empire's citizens knew the true nature of that facility. In that place, the children weren't being educated. The children were being abused instead. Of course, no one knew that the children were also being sexually exploited there. And here, there were 4 people who remained oblivious of the truth. A party had been listening to the gossip of the people passing through the town. The members of the party looked at their leader awkwardly. The leader was a handsome young man with blonde hair and blue eyes. Born into a fallen noble family, he had honed his skills through hard work, and finally he became a B-rank adventurer at the tender age of 19. Kultz looked back at his party members. His fists were trembling. He looked so vexed. What do you guys think about what we just heard? I pity the children. They have nowhere else to go now, right? Maybe they'll end up back in the slums again, just like what the aunties said. Yeah, that's right. I think the children's situations are terrible. An elf with pale green hair and a healer girl with brown hair answered one after another. On the other side, the black-haired girl, the assassin of the group, remained silent. The hero frowned at her. He stared at her for a while before the assassin finally spoke. Yeah, those poor children. The assassin sighed inwardly after she said the word she knew they wanted to hear. She had once been an orphan from the slums too. Hence why she knew the truth about that angel's forest. The forest where the detention camp was located. And of course, she knew very well of the true nature of the said orphanage. To be honest, when she said those poor children, it was 100% a lie. After all, the children must be thrilled now that they had been freed from hell. That being said, biased information blind people. Of course the same could be said about the party she belonged to. It seems that prophecy is true. The one about a demon consuming this world. The prophecy about this world being overwritten one piece at a time. The healer, once a former clergy, spoke with a sorrowful voice. The prophecy she mentioned had been passed down through generations of clergy in the country. The prophecy was more like a bad omen, talking about a curse. Demon would consume this world. The fall of the Empire. A destiny set in stone that couldn't be overturned. But still, I refused to get defeated so easily by something like that. And yet, Kultz refused to yield against that ominous prophecy. With a determined gaze and tightly clenched fist, he continued on. Even if that prophecy is true, I will never give up. I will stand against that demon until the very end. I will show my resistance against that so-called demon until my last dying breath. Kultz-sama. Well, that's what this holy sword is for after all. A sword that's been revered by the clergy order Alwyn belongs to. The proof of a hero. I believe there must be a deeper meaning to why this sword chose me, Kultz said, while he proudly caressed the hilt of the holy sword. Next to him, the elf named Brian and the healer named Alwyn stared at Kultz fondly. That's right. Heroes are meant to appear in times of turmoil. Yeah. I believe Kultz-sama can defeat the demon. After all, he's the master of the holy sword. The two of you. Thank you. I can't take this anymore. I'm going to get sick if I stay here any longer. Thinking so, the assassin stood up from her seat and said, Sorry, can I go back to my room for a bit? I don't feel good today, huh? Sure thing, Chloe. In response to the hero's words, Chloe nodded a bit before she turned around. However, she wasn't heading to the inn. Instead, She was heading to the guild located in the heart of the town. She planned on going monster hunting to dispel the pent-up frustration in her heart. Demon, huh? For me, this country is the real demon, Chloe thought to herself as she stared at the bulletin board. She tore off a piece of paper with a goblin drawing on it and headed to the counter. Monsters are better, Chloe murmured in her heart. Monsters are more simple and straightforward. With just one glance, you can know if they're your enemies and you can easily defeat them without going through complicated mental gymnastics. This country looks like a paradise on the surface, and yet the core of this country is not that much different from those monsters that kill humans. Why am I even teaming up with the hero and his members anyway? The girl lightly signed the quest paper and she was about to leave, but then, hey, do you know? It turns out that the demon is actually a young girl. Huh? A young girl? So the rumors about a demon's child that have been circulating around were true after all? Suddenly hearing a conversation that piqued her interest, Chloe stopped dead in her tracks. Standing still, she listened to the drunken men's conversation. Yeah, but you know. According to the rumor, there was another boy with that girl. Huh? A boy? No way. No, seriously. An orphan who escaped from that orphanage said so. Then? What's this country doing? The orphanage got destroyed by black magic, right? Then. It was definitely the work of a demon, right? Well, that's why the Knight Commander said what he said, right? That demon's child and the boy accompanying her are the enemies of this empire. Ha ha ha. Well, they're just a bunch of kids from the slums anyway. They are worth no better than trash. Don't underestimate them, okay? Besides, they even have a name now. Chloe couldn't stop herself from eavesdropping. The name of the organization where her true friends were. The organization that she would spend the rest of her life with. The name of her friend's organization. The friend who would bring her so much happiness, so much so that she could forget the pain of her past. They're called Shadow. Ahahaha. What a cringy name, Chloe thought to herself as she opened the door and left the guild. T/N, like my translation? Check out my other novels in Zetro. Click here ! 11. Chloe's Destiny. Chapter 11, Chloe's Destiny. Chloe, the former member of the hero's party, was destined to die. To be precise, she was destined to be killed by the hero. She often acted alone and was always skeptical toward Kultz's ideology. She was shunned even by the other party members. Kultz's suspicion toward Chloe grew more and more, and he came to dislike her more as she always voiced her opposition to his opinion. And then, a decisive event occurred in the slums. Chloe got information about human trafficking taking place in the black market, which was located in the slums shopping district. She headed to the slum to rescue the slaves. However, during a confrontation with a certain black magician there, she was subjected to mental attack, causing her to be manipulated by the said black magician. Right at that moment, the hero came. The hero saw Chloe and she was killed by him. And sure enough, the story really started going downhill after Chloe died. The plot where a hero killed his own comrade left quite an impact on the players. Many players empathized with Chloe, especially her way of thinking. They couldn't relate to the hero, who only spoke in 2D idealistic ideology. This made the player dissatisfied with the story. Even though Chloe was a character beloved by many, for some reason, the developers decided to drive Chloe insane. They turned her into a mindless monster and ultimately had her killed by the hero. The death of a popular character, who was both beautiful and highly skilled, was a major reason why many players quit the game. I remember sending about 50 emails asking why the story ended up in that way. The first person that came to my mind after escaping that detention camp was Chloe. Probably because I loved her so much as a character. In the previous game's storyline, she died because the scenario writer was shitty at their job. But now, I could change it. After all, the final boss of this world, Nya, was with me. What's wrong, Kai? Oh ? It's nothing. Nya, you look cute today as well. Cute. I've never heard someone call me cute before. Seeing Nya blushing with her expressionless face, I couldn't help but to grin from ear to ear. I remembered how hard it was to defeat her in the game in my previous life. How much effort and time I had put into defeating her. I remembered trying for 30 hours straight without sleeping, and by the time I managed to clear it, I felt more vexed than exhilarated. But now, looking back, yes, Nia was cute. She was incredibly beautiful. Her hair had turned white and her eyes had turned red, probably because her demonic power had awakened. Together with her petite and frail figure that exuded a somehow mysterious vibe, Nia looked downright ethereal. Will we be okay? Given how beautiful she looks, we're going to attract a lot of attention in the slums. We were heading to the most dangerous slum in this empire. Given the demonic power residing in our body, we didn't have anywhere else to go. I planned on laying low in the slums for a while, waiting for the opportunity to meet Chloe. But slums were the place where scums of the empire gathered. If a weak-looking girl like Nia went into the slums, she'd get targeted. Who knew what those disgusting men planned on doing to her? Hence why, I was considering my option, thinking about what I should do if trouble came our way. Eek. There are 2 demons? Crap. The heck with those monsters? Did it escape from the detention camp? Oh, right, of course. No one would dare to mess with Nia in the first place. Anyone with magical vision, no matter how little their magical power, could see the demon. Well, the same could be said about me. I wasn't that much different from Nia, but there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing more important than our lives after all. Kai, where are we going? To the black market. We're going to the guild to buy dungeon tickets. Dungeon tickets? Yeah. We need to test our power after all, so we can gauge how strong we are and how far our powers can take us. I hadn't had a single actual fight since absorbing Nia's power. Of course, I had some experience in using magic, more or less, but I believed it would be better to gain some actual combat experience by diving into a dungeon. Sorry, Nia, for making you walk this long. What are you apologizing for? I don't understand why you're apologizing to me. Well, because I made you go through all these hardships. Kai, you've never made me go through any hardships. Nia said so with her usual emotionless face. Kai, you always make me happy. Why yeah. You're coming on strong, huh? Why are you turning away, Kai? If you say it to my face like that, of course I will feel embarrassed. Just look over there. Don't stare at me. Kai, you're being weird. While basking in Nia's voice that had become slightly warmer than before, the 2 of us moved further into the city. The stench of blood and bloodstains gradually increased as we got deeper and deeper into the slum. It couldn't be helped though. Not only theft, but murder also occurred in this part of the city frequently. But still, the situation here was worse than I thought. This city was on a completely different level from Japan, where the town was more peaceful. The scenes before me made me grow uneasy, but we finally arrived at the only public institution in the slums, the Guild. 12, Intermediate Dungeon. Chapter 12, Intermediate Dungeon. Welko. Here, upon entering the guild, perhaps startled by our eyes, the staff was so shocked that he nearly fell off his chair upon seeing us. I glanced at Nia and then, we slowly approached the staff member. Excuse me, we'd like to purchase dungeon entry tickets. Do dungeon? I mean, you guys. Kai, something is weird about this person. Nia, I think we're the weird ones, I said calmly while shrugging my shoulders. In any case, we'd like to buy dungeon entry tickets. How much are they? 1 silver. It's 1 silver. Seemingly scared shitless, the staff stammered out the words. He was trembling uncontrollably. That being said, 1 silver, huh? If I remembered correctly, the entry tickets for intermediate dungeons in the game were also 1 silver. I see. It seemed the market in this world was the same as the game. Kai, do you have any money, huh? Of course I don't. And so, Staff-san, I'd like to ask you for a favor. Wow, what would that be? He was completely terrified. Perhaps he thought we were going to kill him. The dungeon in the slum. The Grey Clyden. There's an intermediate boss that sometimes appears. And that boss is none but Ancient Ghoul. Right? Yes. But how did you know about that information? And if you defeat the Ancient Ghoul, you're guaranteed to get an intermediate magic stone. If I'm not wrong, the exchange rate for 1 intermediate magic stone is 10 silver in the slums, right? Am I wrong? No. No. You're not wrong. That's exactly right. Well, what's wrong? How did you? Besides, you've never been to the dungeon, so how did you know about the existence of the ghoul? Ah well, because I've poured all of my life into this game. Isn't it obvious? However, of course I couldn't say that to him. Hence why I decided to just take the quickest route. You know, sometimes in life, it's better if you remain oblivious to certain things, right? Hi. Well, in any case I will bring you the magic stone, so could you let me pay for the entry ticket later? After I got the stone? I mean, I don't think the guild will suffer financially from giving me 2 early tickets, right? Yes. I will bring the documents right away. Please wait a moment. The staff hurriedly fled into the back. Perhaps my little intimidation had worked a bit too well. It was kind of pitiful to see that old guy getting intimidated by little kids like us. Kai, you looked really villainous just now. You think so? But the ancient ghoul's magic stone is 10 silver, you know? We can make up for it later after we get the magic stones. That way of thinking is villainous too. Kai is a bad person. Ugh. Well, I can't deny that part, I guess. Ha. But even if Kai is a bad person, I will always follow you. Nia-san, don't you think you love me a bit too much? Yes. I love you a lot, Kai. In an instant, I was at a loss for words. This girl. Does she even understand what love is? Just as I was thinking that, the flustered staff returned. He was holding on to 2 entry tickets in his hand. May I ask for your names? I'm Kai and this is Nia. May I know what your age is? Actually, the rules said you need to be at least 16 years old to enter the dungeon. Staff-san, don't we look 16 to you? Pardon? We look like we're 16, don't we? The way I pressured him made me feel like I was an abusive boss pressuring his subordinates. But there was nothing else I could do about it. That being said, my mental age was 20. Deep inside, I was already an adult. As for Nia, well, nothing could be done about her. This was the slums after all. Strength was justice here. Yes. Yo, you look 16. Given that the staff could clearly see the demons lurking within us, there was no way he would try to question us any further. After easily obtaining the entry tickets, we left the guild. I needed to make sure to give that staff member a magic stone later. Kai, you were really villainous back there. Nia, sometimes in life, you need to be a villain. Those words sound villainous too. Kai is a bad person. But I like you just the way you are, Kai. Can you stop saying you like me over and over again? Do you even know what like truly means? By like. That means I want to be together with you all the time, right? Well. That's right, but still, there was more to like than just that. The emotional aspect and the physical aspect too. Wow. Just what was I imagining? Foo Kai, you're being weird. Anyway, with Nia's chuckling as the background music, we headed toward the dungeon in the slum. Great Clyden. T/N, MC is so good at gaslighting. 13, being liked too much by Nia. Chapter 13. Being liked too much by Nia. Intermediate dungeon, Great Clyden. This wasn't a popular dungeon in the game, but for someone like me, who had poured 10,000 hours of my life into the game Dark's Blood Online and even achieved the world's top rank, of course I knew everything about this dungeon. I knew what monsters appeared in this dungeon and what they dropped. We're going into a dungeon without any preparation, but are you really fine with it, Nia? You haven't had much rest yet, right? No, I don't feel tired. With magic constantly flowing through my body, I don't need much sleep. Ooh. I see. Right. I also didn't feel tired. We had escaped from that detention camp and walked all the way to the slum and yet, I felt perfectly fine. This must be due to the demon's magic. Smirking at the irony of it, we stood at the dungeon's entrance. After looking up at the massive cave-like entrance, I turned to look at Nia. Well then, shall we go, Nia? Yes. I'm ready anytime you are. We nodded and slowly, I opened the stone gate to the dungeon. If it was just like in the game, then the moment we stepped inside, the monsters should. Grah. Whoa. I knew monsters would appear, but I didn't expect the monster would attack us immediately. I dodged a blob of spit that flew to me. The ground I had just been standing before began to corrode. I let out a wry laugh as I stared ahead. Gra. 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 I see. It's quite the flashy greeting, huh? More than 10 ghouls gathered near the entrance, welcoming Nia and me. Were there always this many mobs right at the entrance? Well, either way, these ghouls are enough for us to test our strength with, I thought to myself as a belligerent smile started spreading across my face. You guys are trying to kill Kai? I just heard a very guttural and low voice coming from behind me. I turned around and there she was. I will kill every one of you. Her eyes were glowing in bright red. She was emitting a dark, ominous aura. She raised one hand and aimed it at the ghouls in front of us. Wait. Nia? We will need the magic stones they drop later, so try to hold back your power. I will kill every one of you. With a voice that sounded uncharacteristically loud for Nia, a mass of magic energy was unleashed from her palm. It was quite literally a black beam. The sharp ray of magic accurately pierced the ghouls' hearts. Seeing the sudden turn of events, I stood there with my mouth agape. Gra. But that wasn't all. The single beam of black magic gradually expanded, causing a massive explosion that engulfed the entire area. A shockwave of flames emanated from her hand. The ghouls that got caught in it were reduced to dust without even being able to let out a single cry. An incredible explosion echoed throughout the dungeon. The explosion stopped only after the surroundings were reduced to dust and all the ghouls were obliterated. I told you to hold back. Exasperated, I smiled bitterly at Nia, who was still standing beside me. Her eyes were still filled with hostility. She was far from calm. That was definitely the kind of skill you'd use in a final boss battle. But still, to be able to handle the demon's magic to this extent. Nia's talent was truly terrifying. Nia. What is it? Defeating the monsters is fine and all, but could you please tone down the power a bit next time? I have a few skills I want to try out too, and besides, we need to bring the magic stones back to the guild. No, I need to kill all of Kai's enemies. Nia? Your eyes are a bit scary. I need to kill them without leaving a trace. All of them. Thoroughly. Kai's enemies are my enemies. Will we be okay? Nia is like, super scary right now. Wiping the cold sweat from my brow, I turned my gaze forward. The dungeon's topography had changed thanks to the explosion from earlier. It seemed the dungeon wouldn't get fixed anytime soon. Well, whatever. I could just take the magic stones from the ones I defeated. In fact, maybe we could dive a bit deeper than I originally planned. Nia, do you think you can keep fighting for a bit longer? Remember to tell me when you're getting tired, okay? Yeah. I can still fight. I will keep fighting until Kai says it's time to go back. Rewrite. I see. Just how much does she like me? A final boss that obeyed my every word. As scary as that was, I once again nodded to Nia and started walking forward. Our destination was the 12th floor, where the treasure chest was. T/N. Nia be like https://ztratranslation.com/wp.com/wp-content/uploads/2024/05/catbeam.png W equals 640 and SSL equals 114. New weapons and accessories. Chapter 14. New weapons and accessories. Nia was quite literally a walking tank. Whenever I was in danger, her eyes would glow red. She would raise her index finger and emitted black beams that killed everything in sight. She was able to unleash large-scale magic without getting tired. Thanks to that, I didn't have a chance to fight at all until we reached the 12th floor. I didn't even get the chance to retrieve magic stones. As soon as Nia saw the enemy, she would use her skill, and at that point, there was nothing I could do. Well, we also easily made our way to the 12th floor thanks to her. Alright. Nia. Let's take a little detour. Why? I have something to do. Come with me. After only giving her a brief explanation, I placed my hand on the cavern wall and began tracing the ridges slowly. Carefully stepping forward, I thought to myself, if I remember it correctly. If it's not different from the game. There should be a gate on the right side of the wall. Ah. Here it is. This part is protruding more than the other. Alright. Nia, please step back a bit. Okay. After confirming that Nia had stepped back, I focused the magic power in my body into my fist and punched the wall. The punch, imbued with dark attribute magic, easily created a hole through the wall. In an instant, the scenery in front of me changed. The surrounding wall began to collapse with the hole I had created as the genesis. A loud rumble echoed and a cloud of dust was formed around the landslide. After waiting for the smoke to dissipate, we could see a large gate appearing before us. Nia stared at the gate with wide eyes. Kai. This is, well, it's just a little hidden room. Come on, let's go in. Opening the stone gate, we stepped inside a long and narrow corridor stretching before us. With a big smile on my face, I moved along the path. Eventually, at the end of the path, I found an ornate box. What a relief. It's just like in the game after all. Feeling relieved, I opened the box to find a necklace, a ring and a pitch-black one-handed sword inside. Kai. They're artifacts. Ancient relics that can increase the wearer's abilities. And it was also the item I had equipped for the longest time in the game. I picked the one-handed sword and a hologram screen explaining the item immediately appeared before me. Britta. A one-handed sword favored by the ancient guardian, Britta. It significantly increases the wearer's abilities. While the explanation didn't give us the details, but in the game, Britta was considered as a must-have weapon. You could equip it even when your level was still low, and due to its outstanding status, there was no need to change weapons even after you reached level 100. Moreover, Britta was the item I cherished the most. I was the one who first discovered this sword in the game. Nice to meet you, partner. Grinning, I equipped the sword. Nia, who was standing beside me, narrowed her eyes. She looked oddly displeased for some reason. Kai is cheating. Why is this considered cheating too? Your face. You looked so happy. You've never shown me a face like that before. No, Nia, you know I care a lot about you, right? I'm telling you the truth here! Humphrey. Nia puffed her cheeks up. This is bad. What should I do? Just when I was pondering what to do, the ring and necklace inside the box caught my eye. I handed them over to Nia. Here, a present. It's Britta's necklace and ring. They significantly increase the wearer's magic power. Well, I originally planned on wearing them myself, but I guess it should be okay to give them to her. Nia was not only my lifesaver, but she was also an important comrade of mine. I wanted to express my gratitude to her properly. When Nia received the ring and the necklace, her eyes widened for a moment, before she blushed and looked up at me. I'm happy. A present from Kai. That's good. Remember to take good care of them, okay? Kai, I have a request. Yeah? What is it? This necklace. I want you to put it on me. Huh? You want me to put it on? Look, you just need to undo this clasp here, then you can put it on. I want you to put it on me. The ring too. This. I really don't have a choice, do I? Well, whatever. With a wry smile, I took the necklace and went behind Nia. I closed the distance between our bodies and I was putting the chain around her neck when ... Nia suddenly turned around and kissed my cheek. Startled, I immediately backed away. Nia laughed mischievously, like a child who had successfully pulled a prank. Kai, your reaction is too much. Now, I want you to put the ring on me too. No. You can put that on yourself. No. I want Kai to put it on. After all, you're someone I love. What? What's up with this girl? Is she always like this? I mean, she's always been straightforward, so I kind of have a hunch that she's... But still. Suddenly, my heart wouldn't stop pounding loudly. My face felt so hot. Nia watched my reaction while giggling, looking amused. Please put it on my ring finger. You do realize the implication behind it, right? You see, Nia, putting a ring on someone's left hand's ring finger means... I know exactly what it means. Flabbergasted, I found myself at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say. However, the silver-haired red-eyed beauty in front of me looked so happy as she extended her left hand to me. I know what I'm saying. So, please put it on. I want Kai to put it on me. That's cheating, isn't it? However, it seemed she had no intention of backing down. so I gingerly took the ring from Nia. For some reason, my fingers wouldn't stop trembling. But I somehow was able to successfully slide the ring onto Nia's ring finger. Nia then smiled. She looked so genuinely happy as she wrapped her hand around her ring. "I'm happy. Thank you." Nia blushed. "Ah. Yeah. What is this? What's with this turn of events? I never thought Nia would like me this much. Are we going to be alright?" I thought to myself, and then, in that moment, I snapped back to reality upon hearing a scream coming from the distance. I looked at Nia out of reflex. She also looked surprised. "Nia." "Yeah." Without saying anything more, we both left the secret room. T/N, Nia got Riz. 15, it seems like we'll become good friends. Chapter 15: It seems like we'll become good friends. It was not an exaggeration to say that carnage was unfolding before me. The scene that Chloe witnessed was truly horrifying. Her comrades got thrown into corners and laid unconscious while the grotesque ghoul remained unbeatable. Ancient Ghoul. The mid-boss suddenly appeared in the dungeon. A B-rank monster that shouldn't exist on the 12th floor. After the healer of the hero party, Alwyn, let out a scream. She fainted under the attack of the ghoul. Ordinary ghouls could only use common physical attacks like scratching with their claws or biting. But, being a mid-boss, Ancient Ghoul could also use magic. If Ancient Ghoul could get close enough to you, it will attack with its claw, inflicting direct damage. On top of that, there was a pair of eerie bone wings spreading from behind it, enabling it to launch a one-sided attack from the mid-air. I already told you guys. Just how many times do I need to tell you that we have to proceed with caution? As the only one left behind, Chloe vented her frustration to the hero, Colts. In her mind, the fact that they ended up in this situation in the first place was preposterous already. Even though they had been fighting for hours, Colts insisted that they still needed more training. Even after Chloe warned that they all would collapse at this rate, Colts still refused to listen. It seemed after the appearance of that group, Shadow, Colts had been feeling restless. What should I do? What should I do? No matter how skilled I am, is it possible for me to carry these three with me and escape from this monster? She was truly at the brink of desperation. Dark Pierce. Huh? Just when Chloe thought she had heard a little girl's voice, she turned to the side to see a beam of light passing through. An ominous black beam of darkness. The beam of magic pierced through the ancient ghoul's body and caused an explosion. Looks like we made it in time. Wow! After the roar of the ghoul, Chloe then heard the voice of a young boy. With her eyes still wide open from shock, she stared at the two little kids. A boy and a girl with red eyes, the symbol of a demon. The girl who could use black magic. The unmistakable demonic power seeping through from their aura. There was no mistaking it. These two must be the Shadow. Chloe. Huh? Why are you here? Huh? You. How do you know my name? Huh? You That's right. Sorry. Kai is cheating. What did I even do? Hey, Nia? Did I do something wrong? Kai is a cheater. The enemy of womankind. Why is this considered cheating? Hey, Nia? It was an unbelievable sight. In front of a B-rank monster, the ancient ghoul, these two little kids were bantering so nonchalantly. Chloe couldn't believe her eyes. She found herself staring at the two with her mouth agape. These children showed no sign of fear at all. However, the same couldn't be said about the monster. With its bone wing, the ghoul flew back into the air. It seemed the ghoul had realized that fighting on the ground would be disadvantageous on it after taking that previous blow. Ancient ghoul. Well, it looks exactly as I remembered, but the boy turned his attention to where the fallen members of Hero Party lay. There was Colts, fainting on the ground, as well Brian, the elven archer. Even Alwyn, the healer of the party, was sprawled out unconscious on the ground. However, for some reason, the boy had a mixed expression on his face before he turned his attention back to Chloe and gave her a confident smile. Well, the important people are still safe, so it's fine, I guess. Huh? Are you going to fight? I was hoping you would lend me a hand in a little combat test. Kai, the silver-haired, red-eyed girl shouted as feathers made from bones came crashing down from the sky. A single scratch from those bones could tear someone's skin to shreds. That was how sharp the wings were. and the boy explode. Lifting the pure black sword he held, the boy unleashed a skill similar to the girl had used before. However, it was on a different level than the beam from before. A mass of black magic covered the area in an instant, striking the approaching bone without fail before exploding. An unbelievable loud explosion reverberated through the dungeon as the black light collided against the bone feather. Next, came the howls of the ghouls. Within the dust of black magic particles hanging in the air, Chloe could see the sight of the ghoul with one of its wings blown off by the boy. It's really turning out just like what I imagined. This is interesting. Huh? You. Just what right. The boy smiled at Chloe. The boy looked so innocent and downright angelic. No one would believe he was harboring a demon within him. If you'd like, how about if we fight together? It seems like we'll become good friends in the future. Don't you think? 16. First Battle. Chapter 16: First Battle. I didn't expect I'd meet Chloe here. After all, the hero party was supposed to arrive a bit later. According to the original story, they would get involved in some trouble in the capital before they get to reach the slums. But for some reason, Chloe and the hero were already here now. Well, it's fine. Meeting Chloe early is something I've been hoping for. If you'd like, how about if we fight together? It seems like we'll become good friends, don't you think? I was so caught up in the moment that I accidentally blurted out such embarrassing lines. However, the first to reach to my words wasn't Chloe, but Nya. If I defeat that, Kai won't cheat on me. Nya, stop. No, seriously, stop. We have to take the magic stones dropped by that boss. Humphrey. And so, Chloe, let's join forces here. To be honest, that boss was just a small fry for me and Nya. However, the reason why I asked Chloe to fight alongside us was because I needed to bring her into our grap. She was an assassin, a rare profession in this world. She had many useful skills under her arms. I could use one who stands at the boundary to absorb her skills. She was a valuable party member for sure. However, that wasn't the only reason why I wanted her to join our group. I definitely don't want her to die. Absolutely not. Chloe was a character that I was pretty. No, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that she was the character I loved the most. And yet, Chloe was destined to die at the hand of the hero. No matter how much I tried to prevent her death, I couldn't change the game's storyline. I still remembered the impact of her death on me. It was so tough. Hence why I wanted to keep Chloe alive no matter what. If I could bring her into our group, well, that would be even better. I understand. It seems I don't have any other choice here. Whether the sincerity of my request got through her or not, Chloe nodded to my suggestion as she gripped both of her knives tightly. Alright. Let's test out Britta's ability and gain some real combat experience while I'm at it. Nya, I'm sorry, but can you please protect those people over there? Please. Even though Nya was the final boss of the game, she was still just a kid. Before we started the battle for real, I gently stroked her head. Please, just this once. Okay. If Kai says so, then I will do it. Yeah. Thank you. Alright. Chloe, let's go. Got it. Chloe watched us with a bewildered expression on her face, but she soon returned her attention back to the ancient ghoul. Despite being somewhat unsteady because one of its wings were gone, the ghoul was still flying in the air. Guru. Grow, the spit attack is coming. Chloe, dodge to the right. Ancient ghoul had 3 skills. Long-range claw attacks, poisonous spit and physical attack with its staff. The long-range attack was a bit troublesome since it could freely attack us from the air. Hence why Ancient Ghoul was considered as a hard monster to beat in the game. However, for us, this monster served as the perfect punching bag. Hide yourself using Dark Sight. You'll be able to get behind it easier with it. Huh? How did you know about Dark Sight? Anyway, okay, I will taunt the monster. Use that opportunity to get behind it. I stood directly in front of the ghoul while giving Chloe the appropriate instructions as needed. This should be enough to draw its attention to me. The next attack should be a combination of claw attack and poisonous spit. Even though I already knew its pattern, but I deliberately didn't dodge its attack because there was something I wanted to test. Just as I expected, The ghoul attacked me with its long-range claw attack in midair. Garuawak, I readied Britta. If my assumption was correct, the attack wouldn't work. Instantly, I could feel the magic attack coursing through the sword. I expected a sharp pain to hit me for a moment. But it turned out, my calculations were correct. Guru? Ha ha ha. Wow. This skill is amazing. It turned out one who stands at the boundary could absorb long-range magic attacks as well. No matter how powerful the monster's skill was, as long as it was magic-based, I could absorb it. I could render its attack useless. Grower, enraged upon knowing its attack had failed, the ghoul prepared to spit its poisonous venom at me. But you've forgotten about me, huh? Piercing thrust. In an instant, Chloe appeared behind the ghoul and thrusted her two knives into its back. Jaya. Unable to stay midair from excruciating pain, the ghoul crashed to the ground with a loud thud. Seizing the opportunity, I shouted at Chloe. Chloe, get back. Okay. I gathered dark attribute magic power at the tip of my sword and dark pierce. A spear made from dark magic power pierced through the ghoul's head. Phew, it's finally over. Everyone, good job. After ancient ghoul turned to dust, I picked up the dropped magic stone and items, then beamed at my friends with a satisfied smile. However, for some reason, Chloe had a dissatisfied look on her face. What's wrong, Chloe? You look upset. No. I was just wondering why you're giving me the items. I barely did anything. Huh? You followed my instructions perfectly and your surprise attack was a success. Come on, you don't need to humble yourself so much. No, I was supposed to be the one getting Never mind. I don't think you will back down on this. Chloe let out a resigned chuckle before staring at me again. Nia, who had come to stand by my side by the time I realized it, was glaring blatantly at Chloe. Why do things turn out this way? However, I couldn't let things stand by like this. Not only did you save me, but you also saved my party members over there. Oh, you mean the ones still sprawled out unconscious over there? So, even if it's just me, I'd like to repay you somehow. Your name is Kai, right? Just tell me if you want me to do something. I will do anything for you. A girl shouldn't say things like that so easily, you know, huh? Why? Oh. She finally realized how dangerous the implication behind her words. That's right, Chloe. I'm a guy and you're a girl. Anything could lead to many things. It's best if you're more careful in your wording in the future. Of course, it's not like I have any plan to do anything inappropriate with you, but... Ninya-san? Your eyes. They're a bit scary, you know? No, wait. Why are they glowing? Even if Kai is a cheater, I will forgive you. Your eyes are not forgiving. I get it, I get it. Calm down, calm down. I was wrong, but still. I was in a pinch. There was something I wanted to ask from Chloe, but I couldn't say it when Nia was here, listening to us. Wait a minute. I could just talk to Chloe in a way that Nia couldn't hear. Alright. I knew how to do it. Chloe, come over here for a bit. What do you want, you pervert? I'm not going to ask anything like that. Never. Anya. Stop hissing. You're not helping my case here. Chloe glared at me with her arms crossed. However, she eventually stepped closer to me, albeit gingerly. Then, I covered Nia's ears with both of my hands and leaned in to whisper to Chloe, do you have some time tomorrow evening? There's something I want to talk with you about. Yo, you pervert. No. No. It's not like that. Wait. Ninya? The next day, the Imperial newspaper reported that an earthquake could be felt in the slums. T/N, since MC is still a young boy here. Is this Shota? Degrees 17, Destined to be Killed. Chapter 17: Destined to be Killed. After defeating the mid-boss of the dungeon, the ancient ghoul, we immediately returned to the city. Of course, we could have continued venturing deeper to defeat the boss of the dungeon, but we had to ensure that Chloe and her companions, the hero and his other party members, could return to the surface safe and sound. Besides, we needed to pay the guild for the dungeon entry tickets we took. Hence why, Nia and I immediately headed to the guild. This. A real magic stone of ancient ghoul? I told you, didn't I? We'd bring one to you. The guild staff's eyes widened in shock. I didn't think you'd actually bring it. That part was left unsaid, but it was clear he was thinking that from his face. Just how much of a villain he thought of us. Thank you for your hard work. We really appreciate it. But, well, you, Shadow, are really on another level, huh? Wonderful. Yeah. We're also thankful for... Wait. Shadow? Huh? What are you talking about? Well then, I will let the guild take care of this magic stone. Wait a moment. Before the staff could take the magic stone away, I quickly placed my hand over it. What? WHY? Well, I did say it. I will bring you the magic stone from the mid-boss to pay for the dungeon tickets. But I never said I would hand it over to you just like that, right? The fear returned to the staff's face. Surely he didn't think we would exchange this magic stone for mere 2 dungeon tickets. How outrageous. I tapped the magic stone lightly and smiled gently. The price for 1 entry ticket is 1 silver. This magic stone is worth 10 silver. In other words, you owe us 8 silver. What? That's not what we agreed upon. However, the voice I heard just now didn't come from the staff member in front of me. It was from someone else, someone who I assumed was his superior, who appeared all of a sudden from the back. This man looked like the typical abusive superior. We definitely gave you the entry tickets for free under the condition that you'd bring the magic stone to us. Of course, this magic stone belongs to the guild. Under what basis? What? Staff-san, do you still remember the things written on the document that we filled out before receiving the entry ticket last time? Yes. I remember them perfectly. What was written there? It said that after you defeat the mid-boss, you will bring the magic stone to the guild and pay the tickets. Right? Old man, as you can see, there's no mention of transferring the ownership of the magic stone to the guild. Don't you have any common sense? The old man suddenly shouted. The staff member, looking clearly distressed, tried his best to calm the old man down. How dare you? You brats are no better than garbage. Just because you got a little lucky and somehow I got that magic stone, you think everything will go your way? Bekele-sama. Please calm down. These 2 kids are not just ordinary kids. Shut up. In the first, why the hell did you dare to write a legal document without my permission? Being sent to this slum from my station in the capital already makes me furious enough, but you darn lowlifes dare to look down on me. See, sir. Those kids are Shadow. The most notorious group in the Empire right now. Almost immediately, the old man stopped moving. The anger in his face slowly dissipated into shock, and soon, his body, which had been trembling from rage, started trembling from fear instead. Watching the consecutive transformation of his, Nya spoke up. Kai, can I kill him? Nya, wait a bit. He looks amusing. T2 children with red eyes. The old man's face quickly turned pale and he suddenly fell to his knees. Forgive me. Please spare my life. Just my life. I beg of you. Even though I already told you to stop. Kai, can I kill him? And what should we do? Nya? Do you think we should just kill him? Forgive me. Forgive my foolishness. Well, making this shitty guild our enemy would be troublesome. I guess I should spare his life for now. What a predicament. Putting me aside, you called Nya worthless than garbage. Didn't you? I apologize. Please. Spare my life. Well, I guess I will spare your life to express my gratitude to Staff-san, who has been working hard tirelessly. But, you better thank Staff-san, okay? You need to get down on your knees and thank him properly. Why yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really looked like the bigger man here, forgiving this old man. But, while I said I would spare his life, there was still another life left. His social life, that is. That being said, a punishment is still in order, right? Pardon? Punishment? Yes. Punishment for insulting my comrades. But as long as my life is spared, then what about you, Nya? What do you want to do to that old man? I want to kill him for insulting Kai. I don't think we can kill him. Not now, at least. I'm really sorry, Nya. Can you please think of something else? Other than killing him? Then, I will leave it to Kai. Kai is villainous, so I'm sure you'll be able to come up with a better punishment. Why am I villainous? I'm just a kind person who cares about my comrades. Right then. Get naked, ... Pardon? Get naked. Ah, your underwear too? No exception. WHY? All of a sudden? What are you planning to do? What do you mean what? It's obvious, right? With a wide grin on my face, I continued. How about running a marathon in the middle of the town in broad daylight? Of course, naked. On the next evening, Nia and I met up with Chloe at the first floor of the inn. To be precise, at the corner table of the tavern. Hey, Chloe. Over here, over here. You. What did you do this time, huh? Why are you asking me that all of a sudden? Why? Because apparently the guild's branch manager, Beckler, was running a marathon in the middle of the city, naked while oinking like a pig for some reason. The people in the town were throwing pebbles and trash at him because he had sullied their eyes. Well, I don't know who that guy is, but I guess that guy was trying to recreate his youth. Feel free to order anything you want. Money is not an issue. How come you have money? Well, who knows? Maybe because I saved someone's life? I smiled, but Chloe only narrowed her eyes, staring at me suspiciously. No, come on, I really saved someone, though? You know, that guy. Beckler. Yeah, that guy. I saved his life, so I received a little compensation from the guild. I also paid the ticket fee properly. I haven't done anything illegal, not at all. Kai, you really are a villain. You are so devilish. What? You two hurt my heart. I'm just behaving like a normal human being though? Well, time to stop fooling around and jump straight into the main topic. After ordering some snacks from the waiter, I decided to broach the main topic. So, Chloe, there's something I need to talk with you about. Okay. What is it? Well, I had been agonizing whether to tell her or not for a whole night. In the end, I decided to tell her since this fact was really important, especially for her. You should leave the heroes' party as soon as possible. Huh? Why all of a sudden? I don't get it. Because you're going to die. Chloe's eyes widened in shock. I repeated once again, making sure to get the warning across to her. You're destined to be killed by the hero. 18. Chloe's Wish. Chapter 18: Chloe's Wish. He sounds like he's joking around, but his expression is far too serious for a joke. Confused, Chloe asked Kai again. Destined to be killed? Me? By cults? Yeah, by hero. Are you kidding me? Chloe almost blurted that out, but she swallowed her words down. After all, the boy in front of her was too eerie. Even though he was overflowing with a demon's magic power, but he looked so calm. He also knew her name even though they had never met before. Chloe wanted to ignore his words, but she couldn't. His words seemed to strike her in the heart. Taking a sip of the beer to moisten her parched throat, Chloe then sighed deeply. Then do tell me, how is he going to kill me? Look, cults might be a bit stupid and reckless, but he truly values his comrades, you know? Yeah, you're right about that. You shouldn't have met cults before, so why are you nodding? Anyway, I don't see how I could get killed by cults. Like, seriously? Cults? Killing me? You're trying to find out about a certain organization in the slums, right? At the sudden change of topic, Chloe furrowed her eyebrows together. Just how much does this boy know about me? So, you've already investigated me? No. In fact, I didn't think I'd meet you yesterday. Us gathering here like this is purely coincidental. I only know about your future and your personality, Chloe. So you know about my future, huh? I see. I already have a hunch from his way of speaking, but seeing him admitting it so openly like this makes him more intriguing. Chloe flashed a challenging smile and swirled her beer as she asked. So, what organization am I investigating then? Since you know my future, you should know about that too, right? The children in the slums are often abducted. Why do you think that is? Stop with the scriptic talk and just tell me the name of that organization already, Chloe said impatiently. Her tone was lower than usual, almost urging Kai. Kai then sighed and leaned forward. The Empire's Secret Squad. The Secret Squad. No, this country is basically one big organization that kidnaps all those children. How's that? Do you think that's enough for me to get a passing grade? Chloe had deliberately used the word organization to test Kai. Because, what he said was true. Chloe had uncovered the truth herself. The Empire's secret intelligence department. The dark side of the Empire. The so-called secret squad, were the one behind the kidnapping incident. So, you really know everything? I guess so. I even know about the things you don't know yet. The Schwitz detention camp was just the tip of the iceberg. The whole empire exploited its citizens for the sake of the nobility and in pursuit of immortality for the royalty. The empire constantly conducted diabolical experiments behind the scenes. This kind of information was definitely something an ordinary child wouldn't be able to obtain. After remaining silent for a while, Chloe then spoke up. So, I'm really going to be killed by cults? Yeah. That's why it's better if you leave that party as soon as possible. Nothing is worth risking your life for. Then? What will happen after I leave the party? You expect me to keep investigating on my own? Chloe said as she rested her chin on her hands. She had a very bitter look on her face. Even though cults is like that, he's still a hero. The Empire trusts him greatly and all member of his party can enjoy various benefits. I've used those benefits to investigate. That's how I got this far. I've finally discovered the true nature of this insane country. You two came from Schwitz detention camp, right? Well, that camp was destroyed already, but that place was literally hell. I know. After all, I came from that place too. I know how rotten this country is and how the royalty see us humans as nothing but expendable lab rats. Chloe still remembered. She still remembered the girl who used to sleep on the bed right next to her. A girl that shared the same age as her who had a very gentle smile. She remembered how that girl was taken into the lab and subjected to some kind of magic and then, the girl's body swelled up and she exploded into pieces. She remembered everything. Everything. She could never forget it. She couldn't forget. She mustn't. Hence why, Chloe approached cults on purpose and joined his party. For the sake of saving as many children as she could and for the sake of avenging her deceased best friend. I won't be able to achieve anything if I don't take the risk. Chloe, sorry. I know you're worried about me, but I can't stop. Not until I can get revenge on a certain man in this empire. I can't stop even if it means I will have to die. Right. This is the kind of person she is. Kai felt nostalgic. The Chloe in the game was the cool type, but at the same time, she had a strong heart too. She was kind and genuinely cared about those around her. This juxtaposition was the reason why Kai liked Chloe so much. Well, the Chloe in the game, at least. Kai, are you cheating on me? Nia-san. Can you please take your hand off my thigh? Seemingly sensed that Kai was thinking about another woman, Nia's red eyes immediately glowed. Albeit Kai was breaking out in a cold sweat, he somehow managed to smile wryly at Nia. I'm warning you, okay? At this rate, you're going to die for real, you know? Foo. I know. I can tell that you're not lying right now. Of course, I don't have any plan on leaving the Heroes Party anytime soon, but I appreciate your advice. Thank you, Kai. How? Taking a deep breath, Kai stared at Chloe who was sitting in front of him. What a stubborn girl. Good grief. Of course, Kai didn't have any intention of giving up on her. He wanted to keep her alive as much as possible since Chloe was a character that he once loved so deeply. I understand. If you're willing to go that far, then there's nothing else I can do about it. But still, I hope you will keep my warning in mind. Oh, and be careful when you're dealing with those black magicians. Black magicians, huh? I'm being serious here. Be careful, okay? You might end up dead for real, you know? At that moment, for some unknown reason, Chloe burst out laughing and tilted her head to the side. Then, she finally asked Kai the question that had been lingering in her head since yesterday. You know, Kai, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. Why do you care about me so much, huh? You're that rumored shadow, right? Since you know about the future, you could do something on a much bigger scale, right? So why are you wasting your time on a mere young girl like me? Could it be you're really cheating on her? Don't say that word in front of Nia. Kai? No. It's not like that. Nia? Nia? Wait. Come back to your senses, Nia. Nia was glaring at Kai so intensely that it looked like laser beams would really shoot out from her eyes. In the end, Kai somehow managed to calm Nia down by holding her hand and hugging her. Letting out a deep sigh, Kai then said, "Don't ever say that word in front of Nia again, okay?" Phew. Anyway, you're right. I also think I can do a lot of things right now. But I'm planning on letting things unfold a bit longer. Like observing the enemy's movement kind of thing? Something like that. And, the stuff with you too. Yeah. Darn it. How am I supposed to say it? Kai was at his wit's end. He almost held his head with both hands. That was how perplexed he was. Beside him, Nia was puffing her cheeks. In front of him, there was Chloe, waiting for his continuation. If he didn't use the right word, there might be an earthquake happening in the middle of the city, like the one in the dungeon. Somehow, he had to bluff his way out. So, yeah. The reason why I want to help you is, yeah? The reason why you want to help me. Foo. Well, however, not only Kai was a virgin, but he was also an introvert that had shut himself in his room for about 4 years, doing nothing but playing games. Of course he didn't have any witty remarks he could use in this situation. And so, he had no other choice but to say the words he didn't actually mean. Right. You'll be very useful in the future. Useful? Me? Yeah. Assassin like you is quite rare after all. Besides, you're the second strongest person in the heroes party after Colts, right? That's why. I was thinking that you can be useful for us too. I see. Chloe wondered why. Even though his answer sounded plausible enough, but Chloe still felt a bit unconvinced with his answer. Just because she might be useful. Kai wanted to keep her alive? Of course, rationally speaking, Chloe knew Kai didn't have any other reason to help her out. That being said, his answer still left her feeling somewhat unsatisfied. I get it. Well, of course. Your answer is obvious enough. Chloe? What? There's something else I want to ask of you, but... Why? Are you pouting? You seem to be pouting a bit, huh? I'm not pouting though. What are you talking about? You totally are. You were clearly sulking just now, weren't you? I'm not. Anyway, what do you want to ask? I'm just a disposable pawn for you anyway, right? Just an expendable item that's a little bit more useful than usual. A mere tool, right? Nobody said anything like that. Ugh. Good grief. A woman's heart is so complicated, Kai thought to herself while stealing glances at Nia. Alright. She doesn't look too upset right now. It should be fine. Right? Thinking so, Kai tried to speak as casually as he could. Well, there's an unavoidable reason behind this, but... Could you hold my hand? Just for 1 minute? Huh? Just for 1 minute? Really, just for 60 seconds? No more than 60 seconds. I know you might find it gross, but please. Just this once. You really are the devil. Huh? Just how come the word devil appears in this situation? I just want to learn your skill. Nia? Calm down. I will hold your hand however long you want later. I am not doing anything shady or anything. PFFT. Ha. When was the last time I laughed so heartily like this? Immersing in pure joy, something she hadn't felt for so long, Chloe laughed out loud. 19. I really can't get along with the hero. Chapter 19: I really can't get along with the hero. With her cheeks still slightly flushed, Chloe went back to the inn where her comrades were staying. In the end, she ended up holding Kai's hand for more than 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes were incredibly unbearable. A ticklish feeling surged up inside her. Of course, the girl named Nia kept on glaring at Kai so intensely during those 5 minutes. But still, foo. Despite everything. That boy. He's a good guy. While staring at the starry sky, Chloe murmured softly. Indeed. The only impression that came to her mind was that he was a good guy. Despite having the power of a demon in possession, Kai was 100 times more humane than the soldiers of the Empire. Chloe could feel Kai's strong humanity side when he told Chloe that she was destined to die. And he looked a bit hurt when he said that. The thought that Kai was lying to her never even crossed her mind. Kai knew her name when they first met in the dungeon. They were supposed to be strangers, and yet, not only Kai knew her name, but he also knew about her skill. Furthermore, Kai already knew about the existence of the Empire's secret squad. Is he a psychic? Or maybe he was just bluffing and got lucky? In any case, none of it mattered to Chloe. What mattered was that Chloe was starting to trust Kai's words. I buy Colts. I'm really going to. She couldn't imagine someone like Colts would kill her. It sounded impossible. Although they fought sometimes because of different opinions, but Colts was the hero. A hero recognized by the Holy Sword. Her mind was in turmoil. Chloe shook her head a few times to clear her confusion away. Looking up, she suddenly found herself arriving at the inn. She didn't even know how she managed to get here. She entered the room at the far end of the second floor, and there, she saw her comrades. Ah! Chloe-san. Welcome back. Chloe. Thank you so much for last time. You saved us. Didn't you? Ah, you're so amazing, just like always. Ah. No, I'm not. Chloe choked on her words as Alwyn and Brian showered her with praises. After all, she wasn't the one who had saved them. Had Kai and Nia not appear at that moment, if Shadow hadn't been there, Chloe wouldn't have been able to escape with her life, let alone saving everyone. Thank you so much, Chloe. But of course, she couldn't tell them the truth. After all, Colts viewed Shadow as an evil organization. You really helped us back then. Thanks to you, we're still alive. Is everyone's body feeling all right now? Yes. Thanks to the holy magic and the precious potions we've received, we're all fine now. I see. That's good to hear. No matter how hard she tried, Chloe couldn't bring herself to nod upon hearing Colts's gratitude. Whirlwind of turmoil was raging inside of her. She couldn't stop herself from wondering how Colts would react had she realized it was Shadow that had saved them. Even though Colts had a good sense of justice, but he tended to be a little on the extreme side. If he knew the organization that he and the Empire deemed evil had saved him, he would definitely felt utterly humiliated. Colts truly loved this Empire with all of his heart. He didn't have any shred of suspicion toward the Empire. Of course, Colts also would never question if Shadow was truly evil or not. And so, Chloe clenched her fist tightly, trying to sort her messed thoughts properly. She believed for now, there was no need for her comrades to know about the truth. After all, she didn't want to be forced to say bad things about Kai and Nia. Colts, after what happened last time, you understand, right? We're not strong enough. We need to stop diving too deep. No, I can't do that, Brian. I need to defeat the demon. Colts's words wiped every last shred of hope left in Chloe. I'm sorry, everyone. I will take full responsibility for what happened. I'm not going to brush it off, but we need to get stronger as soon as possible, otherwise this empire will be swallowed by demons. The Holy Sword must have chosen me to prevent that catastrophe from happening. In order to save as many people as possible, I need to fight more. I need to get stronger. I have to. Colts-san. That's why. I'm sorry, everyone. I know I'm asking for the impossible, but I still plan to dive deeper into the dungeons. I want to become stronger than I was yesterday, even just for a little bit. How wonderful. How heroic. The eyes of the party's healer and the party's archer seemed to sparkle as they stared at Colts. Their gaze was full of admiration, like they were looking at a real hero. But, not for Chloe. Are you an idiot? If you die, that's it. That's the end. Forcing yourself to dive deeper without taking proper preparations beforehand is stupid. Stupidly suicidal. Ignorant courage would only lead to death. That was the truth she came to realize after working as an assassin. Colts was talking with groundless courage. However, he failed to realize that in real life, that kind of idiotic courage wouldn't help anyone. This was not a make-believe. Actual lives were at stake here. And so, Chloe decided to speak up. No, please wait. At the very least, we still need to gather some information beforehand, right? Instead of diving into the dungeon recklessly, don't you think we need to look up the information of the dungeon first? We can ask the guild for materials, prepare properly before we take on the challenge. Chloe, I understand your point, But sometimes flexibility is important too. Rather than wasting time gathering information, it'd be better if we spent that precious time defeating monsters instead. No, Quartz. You're rushing things now. You need to take a step back, assert the situation properly before you. I can't. Nothing will change if I do that. Quartz slammed the table, causing a loud bang, and stood up angrily. Quartz glared at Chloe. His gaze was filled with suspicion and wrath. This wasn't the first time. Chloe had always gone against his opinion since a long time ago. Hence why Quartz couldn't bring himself to consider Chloe's opinion. Evil is still running rampant in this country. We don't have time to rest. No, I'm not saying we need to rest. Shut up. You're basically saying the same thing. Do you really think we can become strong by acting all pretentious? Quartz. Just look at the people in this town. Everyone is going to get weeded out easily because they won't even bother trying to become stronger. It's no wonder how come Shadow is able to roam freely in this town. I need to defeat the demons as soon as possible and exonerate everyone in this town. It's hopeless. Our views are just too different. We can't find the middle ground. In the end, Chloe had no choice but to bend to his will again. Fine. But, can't we at least wait a bit? Let's take a break today and tackle the dungeon the day after tomorrow? No. We're leaving tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we will lose our sense of combat. I want to leave this party. But I can't. Being part of the heroes party came with its own benefits. She could get access to various pieces of information, ones that she couldn't obtain otherwise. However, one day, after she could save the children, after she defeated the black magician lurking in the slum, she wished to meet Kai and Neo again. Trying to find a bit of resolve in the midst of her desperation, Chloe nodded weakly. 20. The danger starts moving. Chapter 20: The danger starts moving. After talking about a lot of stuff with Chloe, I found myself trying to calm Neo down in our room in the inn. After all, I had broken my promise. I promised Neo I would only hold Chloe's hand for 1 minute, but I ended up holding her hands for 5 minutes. Even though I didn't do anything more than just holding hands, but Neo's cheeks were puffing up like balloons. I'm sorry, Neo. I was wrong. But Neo, you know why I did it, right? You know about my unique skill, right? Assassins like Chloe had many useful skills. Those skills could be used in dungeons and of course in everyday life. Hence why I tried to copy Chloe's skill by using my unique skill, one who stands at the boundary. Neo should be able to understand why I had to hold her hands. However, for some reason, Neo kept glaring at me. She was emitting a dangerous aura that reminded me of her final boss self from my previous life. I don't mind it, even if Kai cheats. No, you do mind it. Look at your face. I mean, weren't you glaring hard at Chloe earlier? I really don't mind it. Kai saved me. I have no right to demand anything from Kai. That's why, I will forgive Kai. No, that kind of thinking is not good, you know? I mean, you don't need to worry about having the right or anything like that. Then, it's okay if I don't forgive Kai for cheating? No. Forget what I just said. Please keep things as they were. When Nia asked if it was alright if she didn't forgive me, her eyes were full of murderous intent. This is bad. Why is she getting so obsessed with me? Well, Nia is cute and she's an important comrade of mine, so it's fine I guess. Shrugging it off, I sat by her side on the bed. We gazed at each other's eyes. Despite everything going on about her, I didn't have any intention to ignore her feelings. In fact, I wanted to keep her happy as much as possible. And so, I gently stroked Nia's head. I'm sorry Nia, for always making you jealous. Apologizing while stroking my head. How cunning. Foo Nia, you know, you've helped me a lot, you know? I'm truly grateful to have you by my side. But still, I hesitated. I wasn't sure if I should say it or not, but in the end I decided to say it. I'm sorry. I still want to help Chloe. I told her that loud and clear. For a brief moment, Nia had a complicated look on her face before she decided to close her eyes. Nia kept silent, seemingly pondering her options. And then, she grasped my hand that was stroking her head and brought my hand to her cheek. She leaned in, resting her soft cheek against my hand, and slowly, she opened her eyes. I understand. If Kai says so, I will help Chloe too. Nya, I don't want to see Kai get sad. Seeing the depth of her feelings to me, I felt moved. After all, considering how obsessive she was with me, this decision mustn't be an easy one. Still, since I felt a bit guilty, I told Nya, "Are you really okay with this? I mean, I'm thinking of making Chloe join our group." "Well, if you don't want that, of course I will throw that idea away." "No. If that's what Kai wants, then I don't mind. I want to follow Kai's wish. Kai is the most important person to me after all." "Nya, if Kai wants to help Chloe, then I will help her too." But Nya's face seemed to flush a little. She looked a bit embarrassed before she slowly gave my index finger a chaste kiss. "Sometimes I want you to look my way. I want to be loved by Kai. I didn't expect she would come at me so straightforwardly like this." My heart was racing. I couldn't even breathe properly. A silver-haired beauty said she wished to be loved by me. The moment felt so fleeting, almost like a mirage. The Nya in the game looked like an evil demon. But the Nya in front of me, she was so lovely. So irresistibly lovely. I slowly encircled my arms around her and sat her on my lap. "Ah, thank you so much, Nya." Fufu. Seemingly happy to be hugged from behind, Nya flashed me a beaming smile. While still hugging her in my lap like this, I continued on about what I'm going to do from now on. "First, like I said, I want to help Chloe. Will you help me too, Nya?" "Of course. If that's what Kai wishes." "Thank you. Now then, we need to think of a way to help Chloe." While still hugging Nya, I tried to recall the game's storyline. Although I met Chloe earlier than planned, but if things were to go according to the original story, that incident would occur. The massacre in the slum, together with Chloe's death. The appearance of a man called Jebbles. In order to prevent all those tragedies from happening and in order to steer away from the shitty original story, it seemed I needed to get in touch with the hero one way or another. I guess we'll need to work together with the hero for a bit. The hero. So the party that Chloe belongs to? Yeah. I'm thinking of giving the hero a chance. Maybe if I can show the reality of this country to the hero. Hopefully, we can work together or at least have a somewhat amiable relationship. If things went well, I could become good allies with the hero. A good ally to overthrow this shitty country. But if things went awry, I would become the hero's mortal enemy. I can only hope his personality is not exactly the same as in the original story. I murmured softly, feeling somewhat complicated. In the royal palace of the kingdom, located in the city of Adele. While staring at the man in front of him, the second prince began to speak softly. "What is the meaning of this, Jebbles?" The slit-eyed man named Jebbles smirked. "There's nothing to worry about. Our plans are going as planned. The Schwitz detention camp exploded. Putting the awakened demons aside, now the orphans from that camp are spreading rumors throughout the city. You still dare to say our plans are going as planned? Why, yes. We still have plenty of garbage dumpsters in this country. Besides, no one will listen to the words of young trash like them. Everyone believes the empire is safe. That this country is the epitome of justice, just as we've made them to believe. Isn't that right, Adolf-sama?" The second prince, Adolf, chuckled while sipping his coffee. He smirked, feeling amused. Then, after sighing deeply, he stared at Jebbles again. "It seems the demons are still in the slum. I've made that hero go there, but that hero still hasn't produced any significant results yet." "Indeed. Hero, he's too stupid after all." "And so, I want you to go to the slums. Do you think I can count on you?" "Of course. The timing can't even be more perfect. I was just running out of trash to be used in the capital. Also, it's better to nip the dangerous bud known as shadow early on. We also need to brainwash the hero further and further." "Indeed. I also think it's about time for me to visit the slum soon." As expected from Jebbles, you're quick to understand. You've really been a great help, Fufafu. Jebbles was indeed a very talented man. Not only did he had an exemplary talent as a black magician, but he was also great at politics and diverting people's opinions to suit his agenda. Jebbles was able to rise in ranks thanks to his talent alone. The second prince believed Jebbles would surely be able to subdue the demons easily and turn the demons into the perfect test subjects. After all, for them, the demons were the same as the other worthless human trash. An expendable trash. There's one more thing I'd like to ask from you two. Certainly. What is it? It seems there's a traitor among the hero party. I've heard the traitor originated from the detention camp too. I'm sure you must have known who I'm talking about, right? Oh, yes. Of course. Chloe, isn't it? That's right. Anyway, I want to eliminate her as well. We can't have the hero turning against us after all. The hero? Become our enemy. PFFT. Ha 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 ha. What's so funny? It's possible, you know? No. I don't think it's possible. After all, the hero is a fool. A pure idiot. I see. Well then. I'm counting on you, Jebbles. Yes. I will carry out your orders perfectly, Your Highness. After a brief pause, Jebbles flashed a sinister smile and continued on. I'll be sure to erase those demons, Shadow and also Chloe with my own hands. 21. An Unexpected Reunion. Chapter 21: An Unexpected Reunion. Now then. Everyone, let's go. Once again. The hero, Colts, was about to venture into the depths of Grey Clyden, the dungeon in the slum. Behind him, there was Brian, the elf, Alwyn, the healer, and lastly, Chloe, the assassin. All three of them looked terribly exhausted, and reasonably so. After all, this was their third day in a row going into the dungeon. Colts had been pushing forward solely on willpower alone, taking hardly any breaks. His reckless and vexing determination proved to be effective though. Colts's growth had been remarkable. He was much stronger than before. About a week ago, Colts and his party were tasked by the Empire's Crown Prince to investigate the Shadow and were also encouraged to conquer the dungeon in the slum. According to the second prince, who was also the Crown Prince of the Empire, there was a secret artifact hidden inside the dungeon. Hence why, it wasn't weird for Colts to be so eager to tackle the dungeon. However, he was definitely overdoing it. Cattles. Please wait a moment. What is it, Chloe? We've been diving into the dungeon for 3 days in a row, right? I think we should take a break today. You're being outrageous again, Chloe. Listen, Chloe. There are demons in the slums. We need to get stronger as soon as possible and get the hidden artifacts in the dungeon so we can defeat those demons. We don't have the time for rest now. Alright, then let me ask you this. Do you really think we can fight properly in this condition? Chloe asked while giving a sidelong glance at the two ladies behind her. Colts narrowed his eyes and the two exhausted flinched. Their shoulders trembling. I understand that thanks to Aloe, we don't feel physically exhausted. She's an excellent healer after all. But, what about our mental health? Mental health? Yes. We've been fighting with our lives on the line for almost 24 hours. Do you remember when you pushed ourselves too far and met the ancient ghoul? We almost got wiped out. Colts, I really think we should take a break first. At least just this one day, even though Brian and Alwyn didn't say it out loud, but they also shared the same sentiment with Chloe. After all, it was a fact that they had almost died in the dungeon. Numerous times even. All because of their leader's reckless decision. Their mental strength was gradually chipped out. Even if they were physically alright, but given how mentally exhausted they were, they couldn't possibly give it their 100%. Hence why, both Brian and Alwyn also agreed with Chloe. They also wanted to take a break today to recuperate. However, Colts's opinion took precedence. Chloe. Exasperated, Colts sighed deeply. The disappointment was clearly visible on his manner and face. He then glared at Chloe. Are you going to keep saying those things over and over again? Look. I'm the hero. I'm destined to save this world, you know? We all have important duties to fulfill and here you are. You keep trying to drag us down. Under normal circumstances, Chloe wouldn't take Colts's words to heart. However, Chloe couldn't stop herself from feeling irritated at Colts. From her perspective, Colts was an idiot. He was being far too stupid, Hence why Chloe decided to raise her voice to protest against cults again. Enough already. Do you really think we can solve everything with sheer willpower and passion alone? Well, you're a hero, so maybe it's fine for you, but not for us. Just how can someone who can't even see their comrades' situation for what it truly is call themselves a hero? Chloe-san, Chloe, that's enough. You've gone too far. You two should have said something too. We're not even strong enough to conquer this dungeon when we're at our best state, let alone when we're mentally exhausted like this. Just how long are you two going to let cults abuse his authority as the leader? You do know if we lose here, that's it. We are all going to die. You're the one that needs to shut your mouth, Chloe. Cults shouted loudly, forcing Chloe to submission. His fair skin turned deep red. The veins on his forehead seemed to bulge out of anger. You really don't suit our party's values. You're a selfish and shitty woman who refuses to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. You only value your own life. Do you really think you can save this world with that attitude? Wait, cults. I understand your feelings, but you're being too harsh on Chloe. Shut up, Brian. Since a long time ago, I've always thought that Chloe lacks the quality to be a hero. She doesn't know the true meaning of faith and dignity. She only knows how to run around like a coward. Cults-san. Of course, I know her skill is the real deal and she has helped us before. That's why I've been tolerating her attitude this far, but not anymore. I can't take it anymore. Cults spat his words out rudely, as if he was trying to release all of his pent-up frustration. Then suddenly, Cults drew his holy sword out and pointed it at Chloe's neck. Brian and Alan were both shocked, however Chloe only sighed, seemingly exasperated at Cults' stubbornness. Don't you dare impose your filthy ideology on me. If you dare to do this again, I will truly consider you as an enemy. Chloe, I really want us to get along well. Skilled fighters like you are hard to come by. So please, reconsider your rotten mindset. Please devote yourself on our duty. After all, our mission is a holy one. Our obligation is more important than our own lives. This is my final warning, Chloe. There won't be another. A brief moment of silence ensued between them until eventually, Chloe raised both of her hands, showcasing her resignation. I'm really tired. I'm so sick of everything, Chloe muttered to herself as she dragged her feet to follow Cults and the other. They had defeated the mid-boss, the ancient ghoul, who was residing in the 13th floor of the dungeon after 4 hours in the dungeon. And yet, Cults still insisted on going even deeper. Everyone was already tired. However, because of the incident in the morning, no one dared to say anything to Cults. Alright. This must be the rest area before we enter the 15th floor. Everyone, let's take a 30-minute break here. Make sure to rest your body properly. What is he talking about? There's no way we can have a proper break in just 30 minutes. Chloe wanted to shout again, but she decided to keep her thoughts to herself. She gingerly sat down on the ground and leaned her back against the wall. I miss Kai and Nya, Chloe suddenly thought to herself. Lately, she kept thinking about Kai and Nya. She found the deep trust they had with each other so wonderful, and above all, Kai's personality was the complete opposite of Cult's. Kai was brimming with humanity, and that part of him really left a deep impression on Chloe. If I'm not wrong, Kai said that I'm going to be killed by Cults, right? At that time, Chloe thought Kai was speaking nonsense. However, because of the incident from this morning, Chloe couldn't help but to think that Kai's ominous premonition might truly come true. What should I do? Chloe didn't want to die. Absolutely not. However, she also had things that she believed were more important than her life. She wanted to get revenge on her best friend and to reveal the ugly truth of this country to its people. That was why she joined the hero party. I wonder if I'll be able to carry this mission until the very end. Maybe because Cults had pointed his sword at her, Chloe felt like her mental fortitude had cracked a little. This won't do. I can't keep feeling this way. I need to do something to change my mood, Chloe thought to herself, and then, are you the hero? Paul, please. Could you please help us? The voice of a frail young boy could be heard in the rest area. Chloe couldn't stop herself from widening her eyes in shock. After all, the owner of that voice was the person she had imagined in her head countless times. She turned her gaze to the source of the voice, and sure enough, a young boy wearing tattered white clothes and a girl with bandages wrapped around her eyes entered Chloe's field of vision. Please help us. We somehow found ourselves stranded here when we opened our eyes. Chloe's mouth opened wide in shock. Help? What's the to help when you two are much stronger than all four of us combined? PFFT. Aha. The heck? Ahahaha. Chloe couldn't stop herself from laughing. Seeing Kai and Nia appearing before her, the smile finally returned to Chloe's face. Her desolate heart was filled with happiness. T/N, MC can win an Oscar for his acting. 22, What the Hero Lacks. Chapter 22, What the Hero Lacks. I see. So he's keeping their magic power hidden by using the dark sight skill he stole from me. Chloe nodded, seemingly understanding what was going on. With my hands interlocked with Nia, I began to talk with Chloe in a hushed tone. Our magic power is very easy to sense after all. Dark sight can erase not only our presence but also the magic power visible to others. That's why this skill is quite handy to have. And so that's why you held my hand back then? Hey! Don't say that in front of Nia. Ugh! My hand. My hand. Nia, who had bandages wrapped around her eyes, suddenly got angry. She squeezed my hand forcefully, unable to control her temper. Naturally, my body leaned forward to alleviate the pain even for a bit. Seeing the predicament I was in, Chloe began to laugh while clapping a little. Ha ha ha. But really, how did you hide Nia's magic power? Even after I activate magic vision, I can't see the demon inside Nia. I asked Nia to suppress the demon as much as possible. It seems she can make it so the demon's face isn't visible. Who? Nia, you're really amazing too, huh? Well, of course. She's the final boss of this world after all. Besides, right now her magic power is split in half with me. Maybe her power is easier to control now because of that. In any case, I walked alongside Chloe and Nia while making sure not to attract the attention of the hero. I walked through the dungeon while carefully scanning our surroundings, and before long, a puzzled voice came from Chloe. I know it's a bit late to ask this, but what's the plan? Why did you guys come all the way here? Chloe glanced at me and whispered as low as she could. I stared at the hero. After I was certain he wasn't looking at us, I shrugged my shoulders. I have no idea what you're talking about. Ahahaha, but seriously, my performance earlier was pretty good, right? No, don't play dumb. I know you must be here for a reason. Ugh. Seriously? Chloe smiled, a mix of exasperation and amusement could be seen on her face. For some reason, I could feel Nia's eyes glowing, even though her eyes were supposed to be wrapped in bandages. Well, I shall just write that off as my imagination. Yeah. Her eyes weren't glowing. Not at all. Nia, I'm not cheating, okay? Humph. Nia is still the same. A surprisingly relaxed mood filled the dungeon, making it hard to believe we were actually inside a dungeon. Right. We had reached the 15th floor with the hero leading the way. Although Colts had agreed to help us back in the 14th floor rest area, but he refused to return to town. He was very adamant in continuing the dungeon diving. No, we shall proceed deeper into the dungeon as planned. After all, we're planning on reaching the 17th floor today, right? But Colts-san, I believe we should get these kids to a safe place first rather than keep moving forward. We don't know what lies ahead and both of them are just children. To my surprise, the one who protested against the hero's insistence was Alwyn, the healer. It seemed she couldn't just let helpless children like us be in danger because of her nature as a cleric. However, Alwyn's effort was all in vain. Oh, that's perfect then. There may come a time when we need to fight while protecting hostages. Let's go forward to the 15th floor while keeping these children safe then. Wait. Colts? You do know the 15th floor is very close to the boss room, right? It's impossible for us to protect these children when we don't even know what's going to appear on the 15th floor. Brian, are you also going to say the same thing as Chloe? Didn't you hear what I just said? There may come a time when we need to fight while protecting someone. This is a good opportunity for our practice. But the break is over. Come on. Let's go, quickly. And that was the gist of what had happened. In the end, Brian and Alwyn had no choice but to follow the hero's words. As for Chloe, It seemed she had already given up on stopping cults altogether. This guy. He's seriously just like in the original story, huh? I almost sighed outwardly at the thought. His personality was just like this in the game too. While he had a good sense of justice and responsibility, and good leadership, but there was something crucial that cults lacked. You really can't sympathize with other people's feelings, huh? Empathy. That was the thing that cults lacked the most. He imposed his ideals on other people, labeling those who didn't follow his ideals as villains arbitrarily. He didn't have any intention to listen to other people's feelings. Rather than a hero, Kultz was more like a psychopath instead. And this man was the protagonist of this game, Dark Blood Online. I'm here to see what his personality is like while helping Chloe at the same time, but he's really beyond help. A somewhat complex feeling welled up in me. He was someone I had interacted with the most as a game character for the past 4 years. I didn't want to consider him as my enemy so easily. However, Kultz's excessive sense of justice was disgustingly ugly and selfish. I knew that very well, since I had seen how he fared during the entirety of the game. In the end, it seemed we would end up as enemies. Just as I resigned myself to becoming his enemies, the light around me suddenly vanished and an ominous sound could be heard reverberating around the dungeon. It's the enemy. Stay vigilant. Kultz's sharp voice echoed, and soon after, the sound of monsters could be heard, skittering and hissing to us. This sound. The pattern of everything around us turning pitch black. This must be the tarantula! Alwyn. Kaiawa? Ah. Thank you, Chloe-san. Shit. What's with this web? Chloe threw herself to help Alwyn and the 4 of them looked upward. The confusion was apparent on their faces. I activated magic vision and sure enough, there were give or take 10 enemies surrounding us. The poison spider monster had somehow got us surrounded and were trying to spew their web and venom at us. Kai, can I kill them? With her magic vision, Nia, just like me and Chloe, was able to grasp the situation accurately. I tightly gripped Nia's hand as she was about to remove her eye bandage. No. This is not our turn to shine yet. Let's hide for now. Right now, we were just a helpless boy and girl in distress that somehow got lost in the dungeon. We couldn't act recklessly now. If we somehow got our true identities exposed, we would be in a lot of trouble. Hence why, it'd be best to hide in a corner for now and watch the hero engaging in battle. Fortunately, Kultz also immediately activated his magic vision and jumped toward the spider clinging to the wall. Divine Cutter. So fast. In just an instant, the disgusting C-rank monster tarantula was torn into 5 pieces. The skill Kultz used just now was a B-rank holy skill. He was growing much faster than I expected, making me widen my eyes in surprise. He was really chosen by the holy sword for a reason. But Rising Arrow. How's that? Witness the power of the world tree. Kaiwa, Brian-san, Brian. Arg. Fighting together with other people, protecting your comrades. These two were foreign to him. Even though Kultz was the vanguard, he only focused on defeating the monster without caring about his comrades. In turn, the rearguard ended up getting overwhelmed by the enemies. Even now, Brian had gotten hit by the spider's poison. She was writhing in pain, clutching onto her shoulder. Alwyn looked panicked while Chloe was gritting her teeth frustratingly, trying to deflect the enemy attacks with her dagger. Brian, you got injured? Seemingly sensing the backside getting wrecked, Kultz returned. However, the situation was already beyond help. Everyone was completely surrounded by the tarantulas, at the risk of becoming a pincushion by the tarantula's poison fangs. Kai. Well, I guess I don't have any other choice left, huh? I need to step forward to help. At least for Chloe's sake. Just why does it have to come to this? I thought to myself, when suddenly, oh my, it seems everyone is in danger. A man emerged from within the darkness. His beige hair cascaded down to his waist. He had slanted eyes and just by glancing at him, I could already tell who he was. Jebel Zodiac. The mastermind that made the hero kill Chloe had appeared before us. T/N, I know someone like Kultz. Ended up removing them from my life because I can't stand their stubbornness. 23, Laying the trap out. Chapter 23, Laying the trap out. Ha ha. Just as I thought, seeing Jebel's figure coming into view at a distance, the corner of my lips curled up into a smirk. So that guy came up after all. Which meant, despite some changes, the story was still progressing like the original game. Seemingly sensing the ominous magic power from Jebel's, Nya pursed her lips tightly. She then tugged at the hem of my clothes. Kai, that man's magic power is almost identical to a demon. Well, yeah. He's a black magician after all. You knew him? Ahaha, well, I never actually met him though. Right. I hadn't told Nya about my reincarnation. While considering whether I should tell her or not, I began observing the flow of the battlefield. Jebel-san. Perfect timing. Foo-foo indeed. I couldn't ask for a better timing. I'm glad I came here after asking the guild's branch manager about Colts-sama's whereabouts. Colts. Behind you? Along with Chloe's sharp voice, a poison needle from one of the tarantulas came flying at Colts. Looking at Colts' current level, he shouldn't be able to dodge that attack yet. However, Dusk Mirror. Jebels raised his hand and almost immediately, a crimson-black mirror appeared behind Colts, swallowing the poison needle. However, that wasn't the end of it. In the next moment, the same poison needle was released back from the mirror, piercing through the tarantula's body. Having its vital spot pierced fatally, the tarantula crumbled into dust. Gradually, all of the remaining tarantulas focused their target on him. On Jebels, whose slanted eyes exuded a very sinister aura. Ah, it looks like Brian-sama is injured. Alon-sama, please focus on healing her. Ah. Yes, Jebels, I will fight too. Together. No, there's no need for that. Colts-sama nonchalantly disregarded Colts' suggestion. Jebels raised his hand and flicked his middle finger. Everyone present couldn't believe their eyes at the scene that unfolded before us. After all, all the surrounding tarantulas started devouring their own bodies. Seemingly in a frenzy, the tarantulas cried out, a sound typical of spider monsters as the tarantula consumed their own bodies. Some of them gnawed at their own legs, while the others raised their legs and stabbed their own bodies without any hesitation. What is this? Even Brian, who had gotten injured by the tarantula, couldn't stop her eyes from widening in shock by the grotesque sight before her. Meanwhile, I, who had been watching from afar, could only chuckle wryly and sighed. Mystic Touch. A B-rank black magic that allows the user to manipulate the opponent's mind for a certain period of time, controlling the opponent as they please. Looks like he already mastered that skill this early in the story. That skill was the main cause that drove Chloe insane and practically turned her into a mindless monster. The one that plotted the hero into killing Chloe was Jebels. He knew that Chloe was about to expose the Empire's secret, and he also realized the hero had been getting annoyed at Chloe. And so, he orchestrated a scheme to drive Chloe mad and provided Colts with enough justification to kill her. Of course, in the latter part of the story, Colts would confront Jebels and the truth would be revealed, but the hero's reaction at that time truly cemented my theory that he was a psychopath. Even if everything was part of Jebel's plan, I had no choice but to kill Chloe at that time. After all, she had become a monster. Colts calmly said so. He didn't look guilty at all, even after killing his own comrades. I couldn't even count how many users were outraged by how shameless he was. He didn't have any ounce of remorse in him. I also hadn't forgotten the chilling sensation I felt at that moment. Chloe, I won't let you die. After all the tarantulas had committed suicide and the situation had calmed down, I showed myself before Colts and the others again, with my hands still interlocked with Nya. Nya. Phew. You two are safe. When she caught the sight of me, Chloe sighed in relief. This girl was truly a warrior. Colts-sama, who are these two kids? Oh. They're the children that somehow got lost in the 14th floor rest area. When they woke up, they suddenly found themselves inside the dungeon. They didn't remember anything, and so, we've decided to let them stick with us for the time being. I see. Unable to remember anything, huh? Narrowing his eyes in suspicion, Jebels glared at me and Nya. Chloe immediately moved to stand in front of us the moment she sensed the hostility from Jebbles. Jebbles was a magician who had B-rank skill in possession. With his magic vision, he would be able to see through many things, including the demon's power lurking within me and Nya. I might be able to deceive him with dark sight skill, however Nya would surely get exposed by Jebbles. Wait, Jebbles-san? You mustn't glare at children like that, you know. Fufumi? Nonsense. I was merely admiring the boy's face, Chloe-sama. Fufu. Though Jebbles was behaving nonchalantly, I could already sense it. Within that split second, he had activated his magic vision. He must had already seen through the demon lurking within Nya. Fufafu slurp mmhm. As if to prove my suspicion, Jebbles stared at Nya while licking his lips. His reaction was absolutely disgusting. However, I still had to continue acting scared. I couldn't let my cover get blown yet. I needed to ruin Jebbles' plan first and make my plan a success. You fool. Just how did you? Ha. Good grief. While the hero was busy worrying about Brian, Chloe was still staring at me. She looked genuinely worried about me. She was truly too kind for an assassin. Well, this was one of the reasons why she became my favorite character. Well then. Kults-sama, how about if we return to town first? Given our situations, it's going to be a bit difficult to keep advancing forward. Tch. Can't be helped. Everyone, let's head back to town. Seemingly deciding that any further attempts in conquering the dungeon would end up in vain, Kults clicked his tongue before sheathing his word. Meanwhile, Jebbles' eyes remained fixated on me and Nya. Ninya. My hand. Kai, you idiot. Nya, who was somehow able to read my mind, gripped my hand so tight that I felt like my hand was going to get crushed by her. I couldn't stop myself from leaning my body forward to mitigate the pain as much as possible and continue walking by dragging my feet along. T/N. Just how can a hero not realize Jebbles is sus when Jebbles is going all Hisokan on MC? Negation_negation. 24, Poisonous Plant That Grew in the Garbage Dump. Chapter 24, Poisonous Plant That Grew in the Garbage Dump. On the night they retreated from the 15th floor of the dungeon and returned to town, Hio Kults was drinking alcohol with Jebbles in the guild's hidden room, a small room located on the highest floor of the guild. Fufu, what a pity. The boss room of Great Leiden is located on the 18th floor. We were almost there. I know, right? Ha. Everyone's spirit has gone awry. As if hoping to drown his sorrows with alcohol, Kults gulped his liquor down. He originally planned on defeating the dungeon boss within 3 days, got the hidden artifact and thwarted Shadow. However, not only he had failed in conquering the dungeon, he had ended up showing a disgraceful side of himself toward Jebel instead, the right-hand man of the Crown Prince. With his pride wounded, Kults grumbled as he slammed the table down, seemingly unable to tolerate the situation with his party anymore. Darn it. Just how did things end up this way? Alwyn is a promising clerk, the one who will become the next pope even. Brian is one of the most talented archers among Hakan, and Chloe's excellent ability is famous within all the Empire. Just why is this happening? Kultz's voice gradually became rougher. He then sighed deeply. He couldn't fathom it. Every member of his party were all talented individuals in their fields. How come they couldn't clear an intermediate-level dungeon? No matter how hard he thought about it, Kults just couldn't find the right answer. He failed to realize that everything was his fault for not gathering enough information beforehand, which in turn ended up making his teammates unable to unleash their true potential. Indeed. Just as you say, Kults-sama. This situation is quite strange indeed. Jebbles nodded, agreeing with Kults to pull the thread that would kickstart his plan in motion. Jebbles already knew. Even though Kults was strong, he actually lacked the ability to lead his party. He was someone with great strength but no talent in making other people work together. Not only was Kults slow-witted, but he was very stubborn with his own ideology too. Jebbles knew that Kults must be blaming everything but himself. After all, Kults couldn't see his own fault. Jebbles was well aware of these hidden thoughts of Kults. However, this was the reason why Jebbles liked Kults so much. By just giving Kults a little bait, Kults would immediately snap at it, obediently following Jebbles' scheme. Kults was indeed a convenient pawn given how foolish he was, as far as I can see. This is not about the lack of strength. Just as Colt-sama mentioned before, each and every one of you is very strong in their own expertise, right? Then, Jebel-sama. What do you think is the cause? Well, if combat prowess isn't the issue, then it seems the main problem is the morale of the party. Perhaps there's someone in the party who's lowering the party's morale in a subtle way. Someone who's lowering the morale in a subtle way. The main cause is you, Colts. Jebel's thoughts to himself while wearing a benevolent smile on the outside. He steered the subject deftly. According to Jebel's calculation, one certain person must have came to Colts's mind right now. Chloe. Fufu. Oh my? Is something the matter with Chloe-sama? Just as predicted, the easily manipulated fool took the bait magnificently. Jebels asked nonchalantly, all the while observing Colts's vexed expression carefully. This is all her fault. She's always ruining everything. Ruin everything, you say? I can't even tell you how exasperated I am with her. We need to get stronger as soon as possible and obtain the hidden artifacts. But Chloe is only thinking about lazing around in town. Oh dear. That sounds horrible. She's always like this. Always holding us back. She's the one that's been lowering the party's morale. And yet, she likes to go on solo missions. She said she has something she needs to investigate. But she doesn't understand the importance of sacrificing yourself for the greater good. She doesn't care about her comrades. She's a trash. A trash. Colts kept on ranting endlessly. It was as if all of his bottled-up frustration had exploded. And the angrier Colts got, the wider Jebel's smile became. This is easier than I thought. Jebels thought to himself. Well, can't expect too much from a filthy slave, I guess. If I'm not wrong, Chloe-sama was born in the slum, right? That's right. I thought I could mend her because her skill is good enough. I was willing to ignore her unknown background. But darn it. I guess I was wrong. I shouldn't have allowed her to enter my party. Good. This is good. Things are going well. Now I just need to provoke him a little bit more. Tilting his head slightly, Jebels leaned forward and uttered the final word. Then, don't you ought to remove that woman from your party as soon as possible? Huh? What? The mood and the morale of the party can be more important than combat power sometimes. Moreover, Colt-sama, you are a hero. The one chosen by the Holy Sword to defeat the demons and overturn the prophecy that said the demons would consume this world whole. I believe someone as noble as you shouldn't get yourself held back by that kind of trash. Don't you agree, Colt-sama? Colts, who had been so brimming with energy just a moment ago, suddenly froze. Despite all the insults he had hurled against Chloe, deep down in his heart, Colts knew that Chloe was the second strongest in his party after him. Her combat prowess and adaptability were incredibly valuable. And furthermore, she had saved his life before, when they were about to get taken down by the ancient ghoul. Chloe was the one that saved and carried all three of them to safety. Colts was a fool, but he wasn't foolish enough to throw such a valuable asset to his party. Of course, Jebels had anticipated this reaction too. Jebels didn't expect to succeed at first try. The purpose of this meeting was to gradually instill the doubts in Colts's heart. This was just the first steps of getting the hero to get rid of Chloe, a troublesome trash that might have made Jebel's plan go awry. That trash. Well, it is true that Chloe lacks a lot of things, but if I suddenly kick her out, I'm only going to lower Brian and Alin's morale even further. Oh? So Alwin-sama and Brian-sama trust Chloe-sama? Yeah. I don't know why, but even Brian, who didn't get along with Chloe at first, has started to trust Chloe with her life. The moment he said those words out loud, the hero felt something gnawing on his chest. He recalled the looks in Brian and Alwyn's eyes. Lately, it seemed the two of them had more respect for Chloe than at him. But why? Even though I'm the leader of this party. I see. Even trash can be useful depending on how you use it then. Foo. Oh, my apologies. I misspoke. Well, if she's such an important figure in your party, maybe it's better to keep her close. However, I'm afraid you're only going to get even further from achieving your wish, Colt-sama. What do you mean by that, Jebel-sama?" At this point, Jebels immediately turned serious. The charming expression completely disappeared from his face. He clasped his hand together and leaned forward. His voice that followed was so cold that it sent chills down Coltz's spine. "Chloe is a realist who has no pride as a hero or whatsoever. That trash did a lot of filthy things to survive in this slum. That was how she ended up as an assassin. Someone who was born in a garbage dump like her. Do you really not know what someone like her desires the most, Coltz-sama?" "What is it?" "The downfall of the Empire." At the sound of Coltz's gasp, Jebels half opened his eyes and gently curled the corner of his lips into a smile. "Well, I mean, isn't it only natural? Of course she wishes to bring the downfall of the Empire that treated her like the trash she is. Think about it, Coltz-sama. Do you really believe she joined your party without any ulterior motive? She's a poisonous plant that grew in the garbage dump, willing to do anything to survive. True, she might appear like a good herb at first glance, but if you keep poisonous plants like her close to you, its poison will gradually corrode your body. Coltz-sama, you're the great hero, the one destined to save this world. Please, don't let yourself get chained by the present. You need to think about the future. Do you really think someone with vile thoughts like Chloe has any place in the future you envisioned? Foo-foo. Coltz couldn't say anything back. After all, he already had his own suspicions. Jebels was right. Chloe sometimes went off on her own to investigate something. However, what if all those solo actions she did were meant to destroy the Empire? Oh dear. It's almost about time for the trash to start prowling around. Foo-foo. Well, this is the slum after all. Jebels laughed as he looked out the window. It was a perfect night. The moon was shining brightly and the sky was clear without a single cloud in sight. With an eerily calm voice that didn't suit the magnificent night sky, Jebels continued on. "It's about time for us to start throwing the trash out. You foo-foo T/N, when you put all your point in STR but none in WIS. _25, Strategy Meeting." Chapter 25, Strategy Meeting. After returning to the slum, thanks to Chloe's volunteering to guide us back, the three of us were able to meet again. Of course, we didn't meet in a bustling tavern with many eyewitnesses. We met in a small room in an inn. "What were you planning? Jebels is one of the big shots in the Empire, you know? I mean, maybe you can somehow hide from him, but Nia will definitely get caught by him." "Yeah. I think he knew already." His eyes suddenly opened wide when he saw Nia. After all, slit-eyed characters like him only opened their eyes on 2 occasions. When they were surprised or when they saw something amusing. In Jebels' case, it was probably the latter. "So does that mean you actually let Jebels know about you on purpose?" "Well, you know. We're shadow, you know? Anyway, there are already some rumors floating about us, so I don't think he's going to overlook us anyway." "So? You meant you're going to confront Jebels head-on?" "No, you're wrong. Just defeating him won't change anything." Chloe's eyes widened. After all, Kai didn't say anything about defeating Jebels' part. It seemed Kai was confident he could defeat Jebels. Good grief, just what is going on here? Chloe thought to herself, but for now, she decided to listen to Kai first. "Where do you think he learned his black magic, huh?" "Well, I guess he has a talent for black magic." "No. Just having a talent for black magic isn't enough to be able to use such extreme mental manipulation skills. You saw it too, right? He made those spiders eat their own bodies." Indeed. Chloe knew what Kai was implying. Most magic came with a price. However, black magic came with an especially hefty price. Even someone like Chloe, who wasn't well versed in magic, knew about this fact. Black magic was the closest thing to demon power. Mind manipulation, body modification, curses. Most of black magic skills were dangerous, almost taboo even. Of course, the hefty price associated with black magic was also sinister by nature. Like human lives or the magic circuits within human bodies. Given how Jebels could use powerful mental manipulation skills that could even manipulate monsters and other magic that could reflect attacks as they were, it was obvious to see that Jebels was exceptionally good at black magic. In other words, don't tell me. Jebels is connected to the Schwitz detention camp. As soon as Chloe mentioned the detention camp, Nia, who was sitting next to Kai, narrowed her eyes. Kai moistened his lips with his tongue before he nodded slowly. Maybe. I don't think there are that many places in the Empire that can give him so many materials that conveniently, So, does that mean my friend was also, huh? Ah, right. Chloe hadn't told us yet. But he actually harbored a deep desire for revenge for her best friend. She wanted to kill the person in charge of the detention camp and expose the ugly truth of the Empire to its citizens. That was Chloe's goal in the game. You had a friend from that camp? Yeah. There was a girl who used to sleep in the bed next to mine in the detention camp. I see. Chloe didn't elaborate. I already knew that her friend had died. Chloe's best friend, number 3278. She swelled up and exploded to death right in front of Chloe. Number 3278 popped up like a balloon and exploded into pieces, literally. Thanks to that incident, Chloe couldn't sleep properly for a month. Even now, she still had nightmares about her friend's death. This was Chloe's origin story. You're not going to ask anything? Well, I guess you already know about it, huh? Since you can see the future and all. I can't see the future and well, about your friend. I do know about that though. Chloe. Seeing the cloud hovering on Chloe's face, Kai squeezed Chloe's hand. This time, Nia also didn't say anything. She just looked down, donning a somber expression on her face. I don't know anything about your best friend. Whatever that comes out of my mouth right now will just sound like cheap sympathy. But I can at least help you get your revenge. Upon hearing the word help get your revenge, Chloe's eyes widened in shock. The eyes that had been filled with deep sorrow just a moment ago were now ablaze, regaining its strength they once held. A strength to accomplish her best friend's revenge. Do you want to know the truth, huh? Answer me, Chloe. Do you want to know the truth? Just so you know, the truth can be quite cruel. A brief pause ensued between them. With an expression that seemed to say, can't get any worse than this, Chloe nodded. Her face was filled with a resolute determination. After all, now that Jebels had entered the scene, they were bound to confront him sooner or later. Kai didn't expect he would confront Jebels this early, but there was no other choice. All for the sake of saving his beloved character's life, and, well then, I will show you. Though, you will probably get to see it soon anyway. To bring down this shitty country that has been doing nothing but nefarious things. I nodded and then proceeded to tell Chloe all the carefully crafted thoughts I had compiled in my mind. Everything from the events that would unfold, Jebels' action and what we should do. All of it. Jebels was much sharper than Quartz. That was how he was able to rise up in position and being known as the right-hand man of the Crown Prince. However, Jebels could never defeat me. Are you sure? Isn't it a bit dangerous? No, we'll be fine. Nia and I are quite strong after all. I see. I will step out of the party for a while and keep an eye on you guys then. Yeah, thanks. I knew all the scenarios in this world. Jebels' attack patterns, skills, weaknesses, I knew them all. I had defeated Jebels more than 100 times. Sure, he might try to devise some good strategy to defeat us, but I shall turn everything about you against you and exploit it to the fullest. Nia, will you stay by my side? Yes. My place is by Kai's side after all. Thank you, Nia. And so, within 3 days of our meeting, a certain incident happened in the slums. Armed Imperial soldiers and the monsters from Grey Clyden attacked the slums at the same time.